Welcome into Sportstime. Bryant and Brett with you in our family leisure studios. We're Sportstime. We're with you for the next 3 hours and plenty to get into this afternoon. A lot of College World Series action going on right now. We also have an NBA champion after last night. The Boston Celtics win it. They make it look easy in Game 5. And number 18 for them as a franchise. So a lot of fun to watch that last night. A lot of baseball to talk about as well. So plenty to get to over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well, and you're right about the College World Series. Florida State base runners everywhere in Omaha, and now 7 have crossed home plate. So 7-1, Florida State leads North Carolina. The defeated team will exit Omaha and leave it. They'll be the only one remaining that's not from the SEC.
Yeah, which is incredible. And you mentioned, Florida State scoring a lot of runs in this game against North Carolina, and got to keep giving them credit. John Harden earlier today wanted some picks. He was like, I don't know who to pick in this first game. I said, I got somebody who can give us some picks. So I go over to YouTube, over to Driving the Line. Our buddy Alan Bell is live. He had the over in this game, which is looking really good right now. He had Florida State money line, and he had Florida State first team to get to 6 runs, which they've already done. So already 1 check mark for Alan Bell, and looking good for the other 2. So really good from Alan Bell. He's been unbelievable with college baseball.
Unbelievable with college baseball. What was the high-low, the over and under?
It was 9.5.
Okay, because some of these have fluctuated. They move a lot more than Major League Baseball.
Oh, for sure. 100%. You never really know. And sometimes I think the hardest thing to do is try to guess where a total is going to open for college baseball, because it can be anywhere from 9 runs to 15 runs.
And then it's like bidding on a stock price.
That's right. It's totals in college baseball, it's a risky game to play.
It's wet and woolly in college baseball, isn't it?
It sure is. And we're kind of right now in the era of college baseball where a lot of runs being scored, and pitchers. You'll see good pitchers on teams that have 4 ERA, 4.5 ERA, and they're the ace, and they're good pitchers. It's just everybody in college baseball right now is hitting the ball.
And I know there are exceptions, like a year ago for Paul Skeens.
Oh, absolutely.
If you got really good stuff, you're already in somebody's system or in the show.
Oh, yeah. And so
I know there's some front-line guys that are good.
Sure, and Arkansas's young pitcher, their Friday night starter this year was electric. There are some good pitchers out there, but you're absolutely right. A lot of times you look around and, you'll see aces for really good teams that, in terms of just looking at sheer numbers, it's like, well, how's this guy the ace? But, good pitchers nonetheless.
Brian, I think you will attest that I never took the bait on Dallas may make it a series.
That's right.
I thought it was going to be a blowout last night, fairly predictable. It was, and the Celtics are the champions. They went 16 years in between titles. Does this group get one again very soon?
Well, that's a good question.
This nucleus?
That's a good question. I think when it comes to Boston and this kind of nucleus that they have, I think you feel good about it. But it feels like every single year when we've got a new team, it's, okay, are they going to be back? And we say, oh, absolutely. And then, sometimes
Toronto hadn't been back.
Milwaukee
hadn't been back.
I think you feel good still about
Cleveland
Denver.
didn't go back.
Cleveland didn't go back. It's hard to do, but I'll say with Jason Tatum, with Jaylen Brown, if you can keep those guys together, which I don't think is as easy said than done. Every once in a while you'll hear about maybe some friction going on there. If they can keep those guys there, I think Joe Mazzulla's a good coach. I'll say, I think they're back eventually. Maybe not next year, but I do think they're back eventually.
Over the next 5 years, you think it would approach anything like a dynasty with this one? And what would make a dynasty in the next 5? This one and 2 more?
I think probably, yeah. I think if in 5 years, if we look up and they have 3, certainly I think we're talking about a dynasty at that point.
They could do that.
They could certainly do that. I think they definitely could.
Yeah.
It's tough though. We always talk with Keith Smith, and I'm sure we'll ask him these same questions on Thursday when we talk to him, and he'll probably tell us the same thing of that door is, it opens real quick and then it shuts real quick.
And it's never as open as we think it is.
No. And so, the door's wide open right now for them, but we don't know when it's going to shut. And we certainly, and with one down, you feel good about them, but who knows? I feel good that they can do it again, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Because, frankly, we thought when this group would be celebrating a championship, we thought it would be under the guidance of Ime Udoka.
That's right, yes. And obviously,
that's how fast things can change.
And very fast. And things can change quick.
That may have cost them one.
It certainly could have.
All that with
absolutely.
Udoka.
I mean, I think a lot of people talk with last year's team, getting to the conference finals and then kind of crumbling and, felt like that team could do it. And a lot of criticism for those players, for that coach and, Joe Mazzulla. And now, being able to get back there this year can, I think, feel good about it. But, I definitely could see them being back here in a year or two, maybe even next year, depending on what they do in the offseason. And, we definitely could be talking about it. But you're right, that door, it could shut very quickly.
Let's do the next 5 years, 25 through 29. You ready?
I guess so, yeah.
All right, in that time, are we going to give Boston 2?
Sure.
Okay, that leaves 3.
Okay.
And me more for Jokic in Denver.
Oh, geez. I'll say at least 1.
I'll say at least 1, and I would bet them 2 before I would Boston.
Oh, for sure. And Johnny Radio, second mention of him in the first 6 minutes, hard to believe.
Well, we hit the over quick, didn't we?
Sure did. And speaking of overs, we just got the over in Florida State, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
But a little 3-run shot to do it. But he was mentioning it. The only team that had a winning record against Boston this year was the Denver Nuggets. They were 2-0 against them this year.
Good stuff, John. That's good stuff.
Really good stuff. And so, you got to think if Denver had gotten there, I think we were definitely talking about a way more competitive series, and who knows how it would have played out.
That's what we want in 52 weeks.
For sure.
We want the Grizzlies in
absolutely.
There, but Denver and Boston this time next year, settling kind of the last 3 years. All right, so 2 for Boston, 2 for Denver. That leaves 1 more. Who gets that one? Who gets the little pat on the head?
Oh, geez. I have no clue. I can't even venture a guess. I have no idea.
I wouldn't venture a guess.
Well, because it feels like we're at the time where it's almost the changing of the guard.
In 29, that could be Wemby and San Antonio.
It could be Oklahoma City, and I mean, who knows? It could be Minnesota.
There's mine.
Yeah,
there's my Oklahoma City.
I think Oklahoma City is a good bet. But I mean, who knows? It feels like those teams that were on those dynasty runs, Golden State, LeBron James with whatever team he's on, those are starting to. Phoenix, we thought they would be a player. Those teams are kind of fading out because of age. Well, that's why I said LeBron with whatever team he's on, because I mean he bounces. He's bounced around all over the place. But those players are getting older, and it seems like fading. And those
Phoenix
new players
finally
are starting to come up. Phoenix, I mean, I wouldn't bet my money on
now,
it.
When are you?
It feels like at least you'd have some sort of run in you, and I haven't seen that from Phoenix
a lot of that
yet.
we just rattled through, and we settled in on Oklahoma City, and I think we all, like Minnesota, always conscious of whatever they're doing in Lakerland. All of those take tread off the Grizzlies' tires.
For sure. 100%.
Where's ours? Because, Bryant, 2 years ago, if we had done that divvy up over the next 5.
Oh, definitely.
I would have, with a straight face, I promise you, not being fandom. I would have said the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, for sure. And I do think the Grizzlies are still in that conversation. And,
But lessening,
it's lessening. And part of that has got to be because, we really didn't see John Morant last year.
What we've been through. Been to hell and back.
Absolutely. And so I think next year's big. I mean, heck, a lot of people I saw on social media pointing out ESPN dropped their team power rankings for next year right after the game was over, had Grizzlies 11th in the West and 19th overall, saying that they could compete for a play-in spot next year. And I mean, I think we feel like, no, this team is better than that, but because of everything that happened last year, no no Ja Morant, kind of that perspective of what this Grizzlies team has certainly changed. And I think a lot of people nationally are saying this Grizzlies team's going to have to prove it before you buy back into them.
I love the people at the text line and at Twitter that want to get on us for way too early college football playoff predictions, but yet we've got out the way too early Power 30 top index from Bobby Marks.
I love it. It's great. You got to drop that right when the championship's over.
I've even got odds from Las Vegas. You want them?
I definitely want them.
From betonline.ag. On Twitter, at betonline_AG. Thank you, Jimmy Shapiro, as always. Number one odds, Boston Celtics 3-1.
Okay.
Second, Denver 7-1. So there's your finals next year.
There you go.
Just like we said. Well, order it up 52 weeks from now. Third, Dallas 8-1. Minnesota and Oklahoma City both at 9-1.
Wow.
Care to guess where the Grizzlies are?
I'd say probably pretty deep in there if I had to guess.
33-1.
Ooh.
Which is not that
not
far
terrible,
back.
No.
Not terrible, but back a bit.
But that's kind of where I expect it to be.
People have settled in right now.
Sure.
Ahead of the Grizzlies.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, with all the injuries last year, no Ja Morant last year because of injuries and that suspension he had to serve at the beginning of the season. Like I said, I think I think it's fair. The Grizzlies have to prove it next year. If they want to be back in that mix, back in that conversation, they've got to go out there and prove it. And I think they have the guys that can go out there and do it. You just got to do it to start the season and get people to buy back in. 9
Western Conference teams with odds better than the Grizzlies, including the Lakers, the Suns, the Warriors, the Clippers.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's life in the West.
It sure is. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's always tough, and it just gets tougher. And don't look now, but Wemby's just going to get older and more mature and better, and they're going to build around him and heavier. And,
right
so
now he's about as big as me.
Well, you're right about that. So, I mean, it doesn't stop in the West. It's always tough.
It never stops, and it's going to be tough. The Grizzlies would have that many teams in the West ahead of them, but overall in the league, there's a lot of Eastern teams behind them, and all the way down there at 500-1. Whew. Nets, Hornets, Pistons, Blazers, Raptors, Wizards. Only one Western team in the 500 club.
Wow, that's crazy.
Everything else from the East.
Sure, and that's we talk about it so much with that Boston team. Won that conference by 14.5 games. Like, that is incredible.
Had it wrapped up Super Bowl Sunday.
Easily. And I think you feel good if you're the Grizzlies because you were with those teams this year in terms of wins and losses for most of the season. So I think you at least feel good that you're not down there with them in terms of odds. At least you have that going for you. But yeah, it's those are kind of who you expect to be way down there.
And Brian, I want this at the Sissy Log Cabin text line at 901-360-8255. 901-360-8255. It's rhetorical. There's no right or wrong answers. But with Boston with number 18 last night in the United States, in the big sports that we keep up with, who's the all-time team?
That's a good question.
18's 18.
18's a lot, Brett. I mean, that speaks
17
for itself.
For the Lakers right there.
That's a lot as well. Also,
but are they all-time teams over the Cowboys, over the 49ers, over the Patriots, over the Yankees? Yankees have 27.
That's
I
right.
think that's pretty simple.
Sure.
Over the Cardinals with 11.
Yeah. It's a good question. I would probably say no, just because of kind of the beast that the NFL is. I think those are above the NBA when we talk about all-time teams in terms of perception, I think.
NBA since the late 40s, the Super Bowl, mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
Because we don't give any we really don't pay any significance to NFL championships.
No, not at all. You're right about that.
It is a Super Bowl era
That's right.
mindset, whether you like it or not. Look, I didn't make the rules. I just play by them.
No, you're absolutely right. That's how it goes.
I don't know how much I like that, and I don't really remember, those teams. I was too small, but I don't think you should just cut out Lombardi's history because of it.
No,
or Papa Bear Hallis's history because of it, or or the New York Football Giants because of it.
No, definitely not. But you're right. It's kind of that perception of what it is, and a lot of perception is just Super Bowl trophies.
That's it. In the Super Bowl era after the merger, that is it. The Yankees are. It's the answer, though, isn't it?
I think
they haven't won it since 2009.
No, it's been a long time for the Yankees. A handful of those teams you mentioned, it's been a long time for, including my Dallas Cowboys. That's okay. It's all right.
I really just did need to clear my throat. I didn't do it.
Well, it was good timing, I guess.
Kind of phlegmatic. It worked perfectly.
It did work perfectly. It was a good clearing of the throat.
I could hit this button and
you could
really clear it.
Well, hey,
let you talk.
You definitely could. But definitely cool to see Boston win it last night. It was a fun scene after the game. A lot of confetti. I mean, where did they get all that confetti from? I thought at first it was just going to kind of be there. It completely covered everybody.
Confetti.
I mean, that was incredible. I was shocked. And
I'm saying maybe the valve was not open. It should have been.
It must have been because that was way too much confetti.
It was too big in block.
You're right about that. Covering everything. Nate Oates was in attendance. I don't know if you saw him earlier.
I did see Nate Oates.
And me and Connor argued about it for like an hour. He's like, that's not Nate Oates. Why would Nate Oates be there? I was like, that is Nate Oates.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is definitely Nate Oates. And that's what we ended up going to Twitter. But J.D. Davidson, his guy at Alabama, there to
you just wonder if
on.
Nate Oates is thinking maybe a Brad Stevens move someday.
Oh, yeah.
Penny Hardaway has said he dreams of the NBA every day.
His quote, absolutely. Not mine. Well, and for Brad Stevens, I mean, to go from college coach to NBA coach to front office to WizKid, that's exactly right.
Genius.
I mean, it's incredible. And seeing him there last night around that team that he built and, with that trophy was
whose
really
team
cool
is
to see.
Brad Stevens or Joe Mazzulla?
Well, I mean, you talk about putting together, it's Brad Stevens' team, but Joe Mazzulla did a ton on the court. I really like Joe Mazzulla as a coach, and I think he showed a lot this playoffs, and that really helped.
We'll get back into all this later,
absolutely,
because I think in every sport we give too much credit to the front office people.
Yeah, no, that's certainly fair. I think you see that all over the place in sports. And sometimes I think it's not fair.
Those coaches can only cook with the groceries they supply.
That's right. You're absolutely right about that.
To go full tune on you.
You're right. Well, hey, that's right. But definitely fun to see Boston win it. We'll talk a whole lot about the Celtics team, their win, and kind of what this means with now the official start of the offseason for the NBA with the NBA Finals completed. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville will join us to talk about the Tennessee Volunteers in Omaha. They're waiting to see who wins this game. Now a close game. We're at a commercial. I don't know what the exact score is, but North Carolina's making it a game.
7-4, I thought.
I think they've scored since then. Before going to a break. I saw a hit, and I think it scored runs. So I think we're a really close game here between Florida State and North Carolina. 7-5 the score right now in the bottom of the fifth. So Tennessee awaits to see. I'm the opposite. I'm for Florida State. Don't know why, but
something's got to give.
Something's got to give, Brett. That's right.
You got cash on it?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay, well,
I Florida State money line.
How
about that? Thank you, Brett.
I'm not going to sit here and not have anything at all on it and pour against your cash. There's no way I could do that.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I'm breaking into.
I love it. Yes,
Tomahawk chop.
That's right. You got to. So we'll talk a lot about Tennessee baseball and who they may or may not face tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun. 3:45. We'll talk more about the NBA Finals, what we saw last night, and the Celtics win another championship for them. 4 o'clock. Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville will join us. We'll talk more college football with him as we get closer and closer to media days and practices underway and all of that, and then the season starting. So we'll talk a lot of college football with Brent Beard. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Beau Marchant will join us to talk the NFL. Plenty of news to get to in the NFL. Since we last talked to him, Trevor Lawrence signed that massive extension, so I'll have to get his thoughts on that and much, much more. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer's here and it's time to party. 24-foot above-ground pools for $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture up to 50% off. Play gyms up to $1,000 off, and patio umbrellas 20% off. Also, 4-person hot tubs only $29.99.99. And don't forget about the discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett. We're Sports Time, and we're with you until 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of our show. Text or call us at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. And all our guests, like Vince Farrar, Brent Beard, and Beau Marchant, will all appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they want you to stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day has got to be the Boston Celtics winning the NBA Finals last night. Game 5 at home in Boston. It was a fun scene. It really was.
Boston never wins anything.
No, I mean, you got to feel good for Boston. For those sports fans, for those people.
Starved.
Exactly. They never get anything nice.
Cursed.
Yeah, right. No, they get everything, it feels like. It feels like every championship belongs in Boston, and they get another one.
That 10-year-old kid, the night of of the Red Sox, of Dave Roberts stealing that base.
Right. Yeah.
So if you were 10 in 04 to now,
it's been a good life.
Now you're 30.
Uh-huh.
What a sports life.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good, to say the least. But they get the trophy. Jaylen Brown gets Finals MVP, which was a big question. We asked DeMichael what he thought yesterday afternoon. During the game, even, the odds were going back and forth. At one point, Jason Tatum was a heavy favorite to win it, but Jaylen Brown ultimately gets the trophy, and it's exactly what DeMichael was saying last year. Jaylen Brown has played great throughout these playoffs, not only on the offensive end, but the defensive end that unfortunately gets overlooked so easily today in basketball. But he had the assignment of guarding Luka, and for the most part did a really great job limiting his effectiveness and really forcing Luka to get the ball into other guys' hands that kind of eliminated him at times from this playoff. So a really good win for this Boston Celtics team. You think about some of the other guys that stepped up for them. Derek White, Peyton Pritchard out of nowhere just coming in and just knocking down half-court shots throughout the playoffs. You had that one really good game where they needed Xavier Tillman to step up, and he did. Kristaps Porzingis giving them unbelievable minutes throughout the playoffs when he came back from injury. Hauser was huge. I mean, they had a lot of guys that stepped up for them when they really needed guys to step up, and it turns into a championship trophy. You also got to give Joe Mazzulla a lot of credit. I thought he did a really nice job coaching throughout these playoffs, specifically these finals, because you felt like at any point, okay, here come the adjustments from Dallas. They're going to make these adjustments, and throw away that first game. That was a blowout. All these games are going to be close going forward, and that was never really the case. Joe Mazzulla had his guys ready every single night to play, so definitely kudos to the Boston Celtics. But now officially the NBA offseason, teams can negotiate with their free agents. They can negotiate with guys that are eligible for extension, so that is starting now. We won't get anything official for a couple of weeks of any of that stuff, but it officially begins, and in a week we'll be talking about the NBA draft and who's getting selected, now a 2-day event.
I'm going to ask Keith Smith this on Thursday. Who's the all-time team in Boston even right now? What would the order be with all of them having championship runs, it feels like, in the last 10 minutes. My top story, Boston wins, number 18. The big redhead, Dave Cowens, his number 18 is retired. So if 17 was for Hondo John Havlicek, 18's for Dave Cowens. Number 19, the Nelly for Don Nelson. When will it happen? Will it be next year? Is this a one-off like Doc Rivers' 2008 title, like it was with Boston? That was just kind of a blip in time, especially in Celtics lore. Or is it the start of, say, 3 in a 6-year run? Or we even mentioned 2 more in the next 5. That would be 3 and 6. Great young core, eager young coach, and maybe the best front office guy in the league in Brad Stevens. Will the West develop another dynasty like the Lakers, Spurs, and Boston, like the Lakers and Spurs and Warriors, like we've had already in this 21st century out of those 3 franchises? Boston and Denver, they lead the early 25 odds. And will Denver be close to anything like a dynasty?
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, also NBA related. Reports from LA earlier today indicate that JJ Redick will be the next head coach for the Lakers. It's been very strange, at least to me, kind of how this has played out since Dan Hurley turned down the job. It was kind of start from scratch. Where do we go from here? I think LA felt really good that Dan Hurley would take that job, but it's been really quiet since then. You haven't really heard about a ton of interviews. You haven't heard about a ton of guys coming in.
Well, they got played a little.
They sure did. And so I think you have to regroup and maybe try to figure out where you're at, and that definitely takes time. But now being reported today by a beat reporter for the Lakers that JJ Redick will be the next head coach. It will be interesting if this does happen, if we hear more rumors, more reporting on this, and if JJ Redick is the next coach of the LA Lakers. Man, it feels like we're back to 3 weeks ago, when we were talking about the report saying JJ Redick, they had zeroed in on JJ Redick. He's going to be the next guy. If he is the next guy, what will the Lakers look like next year under him? Will he be able to come in and quickly get those guys running what he wants to run? I know there's been a lot of question about how young he is in terms of kind of that relationship with LeBron James and with Anthony Davis. It'll be interesting, but we'll have to see. And, I said it earlier, I like JJ Redick. I think he's a great basketball mind. I just wish that if he did want to get in coaching with the NBA, I wish his job was maybe not with the Lakers, somewhere else that maybe could have a little more, I don't know if freedom's the word, but a longer leash. It feels like it's going to be a short leash if it is JJ Redick with the Lakers.
I just hope whoever presides over that Laker press conference at the announcement for JJ Redick, let him have his day. They should. It should be a very proud day for him. Whether it's Rob Pelinka or Jenny Buss doing all the talking, whomever it is, don't insult our intelligence by telling us this is the only coach we offered the job to.
You can't do that.
Don't go Hunter Yurachek on.
No.
We only one coach we wanted was John Calipari when the whole world knows that Chris Beard turned it down.
That's right.
Please don't do that because it was Hurley's if he wanted it. My not top story. Remember all the people that said the winner of Minnesota and Denver would be the champions, or that Oklahoma City could be the insurgent team this year, or maybe one more for LeBron, or one more for old time's sake for Golden State. Could it be the West is slightly overdone, maybe overrated?
Ooh. Uh-oh. Interesting.
Phoenix?
Well, yeah, Phoenix.
And they didn't hit a loud foul.
No, not at all. You might be onto something, Brett.
We'll see.
We will see. Well, that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we come back, we're talking a lot about the College World Series. We're talking a lot about the Vols with Vince Ferrara.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl signing. Then Wilson's conceal their services so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 901-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
I got him on the line, Jason, the main man Marshall, and he's ready to rock and gossip Volkswagen on the pike.
Randy, it's vacation time, so take the road wherever it leads you with 42 miles per gallon on the highway in a brand new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month.
That's an awesome deal at Gossip Volkswagen on the pike. And Jason, my main man Marshall, everybody in Memphis knows when it comes to a great deal, it's all about choices.
Take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or a 2024 Taos SE for only $279.28 a month, plus 0% for 60 months on all new 24 Taos. And you know my motto, make me an offer, because nothing reasonable will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man Marshall, at Gossip Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike. Online, gossipvwmemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Carterville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshots 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Carterville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Buster's Butcher at 199 South Highland Street in Memphis. We're a full-service butcher shop offering a curated selection of quality meats, cheeses, prepared foods, and more. At Buster's, our skilled butchers are also experienced chefs. They'll be delighted to guide you on selecting, preparing, and cooking our fine selection of products. We're like nothing else you can find in Memphis. Learn more at bustersbutcher.com and come see why every cut counts at Buster's Butcher.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in town Memphis.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brent Stacks Norsworthy and Brian Gates.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville. He joins us to talk the Tennessee Volunteers, who are in real good shape right now in Omaha. They await the winner of the game that's currently going on, Florida State and North Carolina. Right now, Florida State a 7-5 lead in the top of the 6th. They got 2-man on with 2 outs. Vince, what have you seen from this Tennessee team so far in Omaha, and what have you made of just what they've done so far?
Well, good to be on with you guys again. Heroics on Friday. Obviously, that was an incredible game.
Yeah.
Sloppier than we've seen them in a while. With the 3 errors, and they actually had some other mental errors that could even add on to their mistakes on top of that. But, they kind of stayed with it. The Tiers home run in the middle innings kind of got them going a little juice, closed it, and then then Florida State separated, but they stayed after it. And got in within 3 in the ninth, and so the offense obviously carried them through. But here's how rare that comeback was. Prior to that game, in the previous 185 Men's College World Series games, the team that had the lead going into the ninth was 176-9. Now that's with just the lead. I mean, that could be one run.
Sure.
Much less 3 runs. And Tennessee scored 4 to win it. Just their approach was unbelievable as well. And they had 4 2-out hits. They worked 4 3-2 counts. Obviously, the Blake Burke check swing that was controversial was part of that, but he got another swing and he mashed a ball up the middle to drive home 2. You had the cycle from Christian Moore in that game, which that was before he had the double to put 2 in scoring position there to set it up for Blake Burke. They worked counts, they were patient, a pinch hitter in Peebles, draw a walk. Just guys not trying to do too much. And that approach has helped them have success in that ballpark. So that was just rarefied air, what they were able to do against Florida State. And then obviously a lot cleaner in all areas. The pitching was much better. They didn't have all the walks and the errors that they did in the Florida State game. And got a terrific start from Drew Beam, who's the best he's been in about a month and a half. So excellent 4 shutout innings out of the pen. So they showed that they can win in different ways, and also they weren't drained by the emotional win against Florida State on Friday. So really showing what they're made of, I think, in Omaha to this point.
Vince, that win Friday night, biggest win in Tennessee baseball history?
I think so. Certainly my partner, John Wilkerson, is a longtime Tennessee baseball voice and calling the games with him. He has way longer perspective and on-site perspective than I do, but he feels that way. The stakes of it is a part of the
John
equation.
need a sedative Friday night? That was a good one.
No, because he lives and dies by Tennessee baseball, and his end of game calls have made him legendary, and he had another amazing one there. So I've been there right next to him, just seeing him put his entire being into a call because he is so into the moment, and that translates to the listeners on the Ball Network. So. No, he was raring to go. So he's been in Omaha and enjoying the extended stay to this point because they're 2-0 for the first time in program history.
Yeah.
Who do they least want to see in the best 2 out of 3?
I would say at least I'd say short term. If you're asking for tomorrow, I would say Florida State. Because I think Florida State has more offensive firepower. We'll see if they can hang on to the lead. Pitching is part of the equation here, too. But they have more offensive firepower. The way they lost that first game against Tennessee, and then obviously I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. I don't think if they on Wednesday, they would turn around and bring Arnold back. But if they can win on Wednesday and then extend it to a Thursday, I think you'd probably see their ace, who's arguably the best in the tournament, back in a potential, a winner-take-all to either go to the championship series or not. And then on the other side, I think it's Texas A&M. I think they are the most complete team. I don't know what the status of Jay Laviolette is moving forward for tomorrow or the rest of the tournament. But losing Montgomery dings them a little bit also. But they can really pitch, and they're patient at the plate, so they've found ways to get it done. So I think they're the toughest on the other side. But look, Tennessee has somebody's going to have one single team would have to beat Tennessee twice. They don't just have to lose twice. It would have to be one team. Whoever advances out of this game would have to beat Tennessee twice, and then in the championship series, they'd have to beat Tennessee twice. The only time Tennessee has lost to a singular opponent, and the last time, was in the Alabama series to start SEC play in March.
Wow.
So it's, the numbers are against you big time to beat this Tennessee team twice.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about the bats for Tennessee, one of the most potent offenses in the country. But on the other side, the pitching looked really good the other night against North Carolina, held them to 1 run on 5 hits. What have you seen from Tennessee's pitching staff, and how do you think that can hold up throughout the next couple of games?
Well, there have been some inconsistencies. Some guys have given up some runs in the postseason. They had the challenge from Evansville and that best of 3 where the pitching wasn't to the level that we've seen it. And you've had guys, though, bounce back after tough performances. Drew Beam, in his previous 5 starts before the North Carolina game, he'd given up 20 earned runs in those 5 starts in 24 1/3 innings. That's not his level. I mean, he's going to be a top 3-round draft pick, and he's been there a consistent stud for them for 3 years now. So, but he was better than he has been and had the curveball working. North Carolina batters are talking about how the first time through really relied on his fastball, 95, 96, and then had more breaking stuff the second time through the order. So he was able to keep them off balance. And then you mentioned the bullpen. Nate Snead and Kirby Connell. At times they've given up some runs, but man, they have a trust factor in Connell unlike any other, who's a program leader in career appearances. And then Snead can get it up to 102 on the gun. Although it's been a while since we've seen him get in the triple digits with his fastball, but they have other guys that can go to. Andrew Banky, Aaron Combs, A.J. Causey. Combs and Causey have more length out of the bullpen. Causey typically comes in, as he did against Florida State, quickly after, as soon as Stamos gets into trouble, they go to Causey. And Causey wasn't great for the first time in a while in that game, but he's been excellent all season. And then they have 3 other guys they could probably they would go to if need be after their core guys, in Dylan Loy, a freshman from Pigeon Forge, Marcus Phillips, a sophomore, who also has big-time velocity and get up to about 100. And then even J.J. Garcia, who had a really good outing in the Evansville Super Regional as well, to help them win. So, or in one of those 3 games. So they could go deeper with talented arms, but they do have a core of main guys that they will go to out of the pen first once the starters get into trouble.
Are reinforcements on the way? Because we know how Omaha works. I don't know who can go up there and stay the whole stretch. What fan that can do that? Are more trying to get up there for the weekend and the chance to see a dog pile and a national champion crown?
It would not surprise me. We had Tony Vitello on the show this morning. John caught up with him actually in Omaha, John Wilkerson, and he was talking about how a lot of fans there are in clusters, they're in sections, and they're kind of grouped together. Whereas you look around and there's orange kind of spread throughout the ballpark in big numbers. So yeah, never underestimate Tennessee fans. I mean, we've seen it from teams that get into that championship series where the fans get to another level for that championship series. Another reason why at the College World Series in Omaha, they do set those dates for those games so fans can make plans to go then and be able to get there. I think probably, even though they're not clinched for it, my guess is some Tennessee fans have already made those purchases and will be ready to go for the weekend.
Probably a smart decision to make with the way they've been playing recently. It should be fun to see.
And
what
not
happens.
easy to get to Omaha. Very few direct flights to Omaha.
No. Yes, it's definitely a stretch if you're taking it. But right now, Florida State still leading 7-5 over North Carolina. We'll see who Tennessee gets out of this. But Vince, as always, thanks so much.
Thank you, Vince,
for joining us. Let's do it again soon.
Anytime. Always love talking to you guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Vince.
Thank you so much.
Vince Ferrara joining us from WNML in Knoxville. Like I mentioned, Florida State up 7-5. They had bases loaded in the top of the sixth. North Carolina able to get out of it unscathed. So high-scoring affair in this one.
I wouldn't even begin to know Knoxville to Charlotte to Omaha, maybe.
I have no idea.
It's hard for every group of fan to get out there from this way. State, Ole Miss, Arkansas. It is.
No, you're right. I'm trying to see.
I had a friend of mine a few years ago when the Ole Miss run. It was so hard, he finally just said, to heck with it. Loaded up family, got in King Cab truck, and on the road headed to Omaha.
Oh man, that does not sound fun.
He said it was a blast.
Well, hey, but, I mean, it's fun once you get there, I'm sure. But
got there and won, but he said, it was a lot of stops.
So I'm looking. I just pulled it up to try to see if I could find what it would look like. It looks like you fly to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta they've got a connecting flight to Omaha.
Well, it's easy then.
Sure, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. About a 5.5 to 6 hour flight. So
that will end up taking 10.
Yes, that will be much longer than that.
Especially this time of year with thunderstorms and such.
Absolutely. Well, and speaking of thunderstorms, they've had to postpone tonight's game in Omaha because of all the storms that are supposed to come through tonight. So they'll play that one tomorrow morning.
Triple header tomorrow.
Yeah, which will be a lot of fun. Even though we won't get baseball tonight, it'll be fun to have three games
potential for doubleheader tomorrow for somebody.
That's right. So it will be very interesting to see how that plays out and how the rest of this one, a very high scoring bottom of the sixth, 7-5 Florida State in the lead. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we need to talk more about the NBA Finals and Boston Celtics winning number 18 for that franchise. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
That's right, Randy. I've got 2024 Ram 1500 Traceman Quad Cab 4-wheel drive, $649 a month.
Man, that is awesome. What else you got, Ronnie?
2024 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4-wheel drive, $659 a month.
That's a hot deal on Gladiator Sport. What else you got?
Get super power in a 2023 Charger RT Skypack, $698 a month. That's $8,600 off MSRP.
So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat or the bike. Or shop online anytime at GossettMotorCars.net. 75 months, 5,000 down. Ram RN 194282, MSRP 48,595. Jeep RL 116172, MSRP 51690. Charger PH 612877, MSRP 55110. Price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. Payments include PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
Hulu is coming in hot this month with new shows, new movies, and all new seasons of your faves. This FX's Clip, the story of one NBA team's racial reckoning starring Lawrence Fishburne. Stream a new season of Short, the underdog hockey team that might just knock your teeth out. Catch the high-speed drama Ferrari starring Adam Driver and Cruz. Get your streaming into high gear this month with so much new stuff to watch on Hulu.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facility safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We're so close to crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code HERD, H-E-R-D. That's code HERD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/bball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. It's going strong at Dawson Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We got it! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to a signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month, both $39.99 to its signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P561 0964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP 21820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stark, Sportsworthy, and Brian Davis.
Well, the Boston Celtics did it last night, a 106-88 win for them over the Dallas Mavericks to secure championship number 18 for that franchise. Jaylen Brown awarded Finals MVP, but a great win overall for the Boston Celtics. And Brett, we talked about it yesterday. It felt like the way this series had gone, it was not, none of the games were very close. I didn't think last night was going to be close after I kind of talked myself into it, and it definitely wasn't. Boston made it look easy. It seemed like it was over before it even started, and here they are, Boston Celtics, your 2024 NBA champions.
They are. I don't think to the surprise of many, so many, including myself, had them in the preseason, had them before the series started. I never got enamored with taking Dallas, even though Dallas did play well to get the finals. I think Dallas can really feel good about the year they had.
Absolutely. I mean, a 5 seed to get where they got and be in the finals and, win some of those series, that really impressive. So I'm with you. They've got to be happy. Obviously, the ultimate prize is you get there and you want to win the whole thing. So you're a little discouraged, but I definitely think positive that they were able to get this far.
Waiting to see the TV number from last night, Friday night, was historically bad, only around 7.5, 8 million for the lone Dallas win. The U.S. Open over the weekend at 5 Central, when it really was getting to the good stuff,
sure,
the audience peaked with 11 million for the U.S. Open.
How about that? That's good numbers for the U.S. Open.
Over the course of the tournament, it settled in at about a 7 million number.
Sure.
UFL championship over the weekend. What would you guess?
Oh, I don't know.
Been not averaging around 800, 850, $1.5 million for
You're
UFL.
Kidding.
You can. I think they can live with that.
I think you're thrilled with that on a Father's Day Sunday where the U.S. Open's going on, and College World Series is going on,
and that's
you got to be thrilled with that.
And that Sunday's a big patio grilling lake.
Oh yeah,
not really addicted to your TV Sunday.
Not at all. I think if you're the UFL, you're extremely pleased with that number.
I, I think so.
I'm shocked. I'm honestly, I am shocked that they got
but
that
I'm,
much.
I'm not cutting the check.
Well, that's a good point. There's a big difference of me and you being thrilled with it and them being thrilled with it.
But waiting to see last night's final number. Yankees Red Sox Saturday night, 2.4 million viewers for baseball. You take that on
absolutely.
that crowded, busy weekend.
Certainly, you got to. So those are definitely positive numbers for them. But yeah, I am curious. Last night,
and now we're being told in the ratings world that for the NBA with their new big deal,
sure,
that franchise valuations and TV deal. Ratings. Who needs those?
That's right. Yeah. And
ratings don't matter anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
That's it. That's interesting. I tell you when they'll matter again. You let it be a Cleveland Milwaukee World Series.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Then ratings will matter
for sure. Of course, if you got those two going at it, then we'll definitely.
It'll get crushed.
Oh, it certainly would, unfortunately. But it was fun last night with that game and seeing Boston. I wasn't rooting for Boston to win, but after watching the celebration, I was that's fair. And now every time I see Shark Tank on, I think of you, Brett, and and your love for Mark Cuban.
Never watched it a second.
Good show. A lot of good products on there. But yeah, it was cool to see Boston win it last night, and for Joe Mazzulla to get that win and get his first as a coach, I thought was really cool. And now a lot of stories about kind of his rise into to coaching and kind of where he started at the very low ranks to kind of finally getting that job with the Celtics.
This time next year, or when the playoffs start next year, when the seedings are divvied up mid-April next year, do you expect the Memphis Grizzlies to be seeded better than the Dallas Mavericks?
I do not.
I do.
Really? Wow.
I do.
Okay.
And if they're not, then I don't know if we're talking full teardown, but it's more than on the margins next year, off-season, summer of 2025.
Sure. No, I think next year is a important year, as long as obviously health, which you kind of have to say now after what last year
we got to finish in front of somebody.
You're certainly right about that, and no, you're definitely right. I think next year is going to be a big year because it feels like this offseason is kind of the not retool, but kind of the very exterior. Yes, fix a little thing.
If
wrap
it was
up
cooking,
the roster.
if this was cooking, just a dash of something.
Sure, exactly. But it feels like if that doesn't work next year, it could
we go through the whole recipe.
Sure. No, I think you're right about that. Next year, definitely a big year for the Grizzlies. But let's go ahead and wrap up this first hour and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking a lot of college football with Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville.
Think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Upgrade her diamond ring this summer with no money down and 0 interest for 5 years. Hi, it's Eric Hasseltine for my friends at Genesis Diamonds. Don't miss this amazing offer from Genesis Diamonds. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Not just on engagement rings, but also on earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and pre-owned Rolex watches. So that luxury pre-owned Rolex Submariner or Explorer starts at only $150 per month. Now through the end of June at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar at Perkins Extended.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
All 650 acquisition fee. Telluride RG 510849, MSRP 38305. Forte LXS RE 780 169, MSRP 21820. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Hey, Jeff, I hear you've got the Kia Summer Sticker Sales event going on right now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Give me some scoop.
Randy, the scoop is I'm ready to put you in a new Kia for less. 2024 Kia Forte LXS 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month. $34.99 do it signing. How about a 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month? $39.99 do it signing, 24-month lease.
Plus 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9. And every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah, or online anytime. KiaMountMoriah.com.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's starting to slow pretty good at times over here on 240 East as you work your way up past Poplar, trying to get up to Walnut Grove. It's increasing at times on I-40. We checked it there eastbound from, let's say, Warford all the way over to White Station. Looks good at the moment on 240 going eastbound as you travel between Mill Branch and 385, getting onto Billmore's Parkway, headed on out into Collierville. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC, we talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brent.
Brent Beard joins us now from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. Talk some college football with us. And Brent, got to start off with the headline yesterday morning. Les Miles is going to try to sue LSU for vacating wins, saying that it's keeping him out of the College Football Hall of Fame. What did you make of those headlines yesterday? And Les Miles making news still.
Well, look, even as a voter, and I voted yesterday, as a matter of fact, so I wouldn't forget it. Probably tells you where my mind is sometimes, but I thought about this hard, that if he was, I really wonder if he was on the list, and I appreciate the national championship, I appreciate what he did at LSU, but my honest thought was, even if he was on the list, would the media vote for him to get in? And I didn't have the answer to that, and maybe not having the answer to that gave me the answer.
And you answered it. That's exactly it. If you have to gulp, if you have to think about it, then that means they're not a Hall of Famer. If it's not, oh yeah, I think it should be slam dunk, or they're not in. Unless, Brent, we're into, if you win it once, then we put you in the College Football Hall of Fame. Because if that's the case, then there's somebody else on that list that should be receiving votes. And he coached arguably the greatest college football team ever in the 2001 Miami Hurricanes.
Yes.
And when nobody thinks Larry Coker should be in the Hall of Fame.
No. I mean, look, that timing is everything.
Me and you and Bryant could have coached the U that year.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, Miles also went.
You ought to see Bryant running a defense.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
He had it better than you was that year. And that was a great team. I think that's the best college football team I've ever seen.
May have been. That's a really good point. I mean, that Nebraska Tommy Frazier team was something else too. But Miles was 3-18 at Kansas. And now here's the thing: you have to win 60% of your games, and Miles will have to get that back in order to do that. Now, look, the other thing that really held Les back was Les was hell-bent on his 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, running Jacob Hester 20 times in a row in order to win games.
And quarterback keepers.
Absolutely. Now, I'll say this. I've also seen this on Twitter. While I'm not sure if I would vote for Les Miles, you've also got let me throw this up here. Mike Leach was about 59% of the vote. So, but there's still a lot of people who would vote, who would want Mike in. Now, here's my logic for Mike. Mike Leach, to me, in some ways, changed the game with that era.
Revolutionary.
And to me, it's like Steve Spurrier being a change agent in the SEC, going from ground and pound to throwing the ball. So help me on this, Brett. My point is, if you've done something to change the game, shall we put it that way, alter what the defensive coordinators and give them something really to think about, I think those guys, the type of guys, deserve to be in. And I would vote for Mike immediately, while I would have to sit and think really hard about Les Miles.
We vote for 2 coaches, and I voted 2 this year. I'm with you. It's easy for me with Mike Leach. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer, and also, and this is not a shot at Mississippi State or Texas Tech or Washington State or anywhere else. He was head coach, but he didn't have the cushy jobs Les Miles had.
No, right? No, and
everywhere Mike Leach coached, by golly, you had to earn it.
You sure did. And look, could you also say that Miles won his national championship with Nick Saban players?
I'll 100% say it. If Nick Saban had stayed at LSU, it would make the most insufferable fans on earth more insufferable, because he would have built the dynasty he built at Alabama there. Who LSU needs to be mad at is Wayne Huizenga.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But, Brian, back to your point, look, there are a lot of things I liked about Les, frankly, but is he a Hall of Fame coach? That's a lot of hard thought. And I'll also say this is, he denied that interest in that Michigan job when I think all of us have heard over the years that's probably where he was heading.
And he probably was. And I don't really hold that against him. Timing kind of got it. And then to try to make, Kirk Herbstreit the pinata for that, I thought was a little off-putting. Look, he's taking the job. He just didn't know he was going to the playoffs with the national championship game with 2 losses.
Right, absolutely. So, but Les was amazing, from eating grass to all that he did and said. His daughter was a real athlete, and I can't remember her name right now, but she was. I think she was a swimmer.
Yeah, smacker.
And she was a swimmer down here at the bowl school here in Jacksonville. I remember when she was down here. So, but anyway, that.
Remember, she would go to SEC media days. I think she even would get credentialed and would just kind of hang out, kind of feeling out what everybody was saying about LSU and her dad.
Wow.
Yeah, I could see that.
A spy on the inside. How about that?
But okay. I'm going to say the same thing, whether she's standing there or not. I thought anybody in the world could coach the players he had at LSU.
Oh, yes.
I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was that good at Oklahoma State. I was stunned when he was the choice to succeed Nick Saban. Our guest is Brent Beard. He's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. He's with us every Tuesday. And Brent is coming to the bowl season. In fact, bowl executive director Nick Carparelli is talking about having to play. The bowls will have to pay players to appear in their game. And the Arizona Bowl is now sponsored by Snoop Dogg, and Snoop's talking about paying out a lot. What do you think the going rate's going to be for those post-Christmas non-playoff games per player? And remember, this is per player times 100 because everybody's going to have their hand out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, my main interest in that would be that it would keep the players from opting out. Is there enough incentive for them in order to play?
Is that 5,000? Is that 10,000?
I mean, that's a tremendous.
Well, we know
question.
what 10,000 times 100 is.
That's a lot of money.
Can these bowls do that for two teams?
Well, I'll say this though. Last year with Florida State and Georgia, with those bowl officials, Brent and Bryant, will they pay that kind of money to have a full squad for FSU?
Here's my scenario I see happening this year. It's not going to be for one of the playoff teams. I don't think. It might be. I don't think it will be, though.
I hope not.
I think for a team, for a bowl game post-Christmas, and I'm gonna go through them all, not to make anybody mad. Detroit Bowl, Guaranteed Rate Bowl, 68 Ventures Bowl. These are real names of bowls. Armed Forces Bowl, Birmingham Bowl, Liberty Bowl, Las Vegas Bowl, Fenway Bowl, Bad Boy Moore's Pinstripe Bowl, New Mexico Bowl, Pop-Tarts Bowl, Snoop Dogg Bowl, a Military Bowl, Valero Alamo Bowl, Radiance Technology Independence Bowl. For all those games, I think you'll see a coach or several coaches before we get on this plane and leave for the Bowl City. You better make sure you got a payment for all my players, or we're not coming. And I don't blame them.
Yeah. Well, or is what that coach saying? If you don't have a payment for my players, that's going to leave me in a bad light. I'm trying to keep that from happening.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't even start thinking about that. That would be
I just don't
wild.
I don't see how executive directors of New Mexico Bowl and Armed Forces Bowl could come at 5,000 is $500,000.
Oh yeah,
so that'd be $1 million for both teams just to rake that off the top and go, here you go, because they're all trying to do it so frugally, and a lot of bowl events have been scrapped. We no longer have the big luncheon at the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah. I can imagine. And look, the other problem with that is to go along with what Brad's saying is when you've got a bowl game and you've got inclement weather and all you've got is family and friends, which they're announcing 40,000 when it's actually closer to 4,000. That makes what Brett's saying even more difficult.
What was the bowl game last year where the player came out of the locker room, Bryant, took a swing at the other team during the fight song post game?
I forgot.
And he was hardly noticed because it's what Brent was saying.
Yeah.
Brent, it's not 40,000; it's closer to 40 people than it is to 40,000.
Oh yeah. So to that point, and that's going to be an interesting discussion over the next few months is how they can they get enough? Can these bowls get enough from their corporate sponsors in order to guarantee a certain amount of money? Is that where that's going to come up from, or are they going to have to double and triple the prices of the tickets?
Probably the latter, if I had to guess. Unfortunately,
or both.
Probably, but yeah, that's a good point. Probably both. Brent, speaking of all of this stuff, kind of ties right into the news late last week that kind of came out most notably because of the Big 12, the idea of selling the naming rights of conferences to sponsors, All-State. It sounds like very involved with the Big 12, a couple other Group of 5 conferences. It was being reported that they have had discussions about doing the same, selling those naming rights to sponsors. What do you think of this idea, and could you get behind the All-State 12?
I don't know. I'd have to look at this. My concern with this is, okay, they're going to be given. Now this is not coming from TV revenue, which is where it normally comes from. Okay, you give somebody $1 billion, and they're not doing anything, shall we say, to earn it. When do you have to pay that back, and can you pay that back? I get the infusion of cash. I get that it makes them look better, but if I looked at that math right, each team was only getting wasn't it like 2 or 3 extra million or something like that? I guess as Brett Norworthy taught me years ago, if you've got more questions and answers and things like this, should you be doing it?
Right, and Brent, it gets down to this: unless you have a money tree, you got to get it somewhere, or it doesn't keep existing like it's been existing.
Yeah. I remember telling my 2 daughters when they wanted to get something, I said, "Babies, go outside and get some money off the money tree."
Right, and let me have some seeds to the next money tree.
Absolutely.
See, Brent, I've always thought the flaw in you find the magic lamp and you get 3 wishes.
There you go.
It doesn't matter what the first 2 wishes are. The third wish needs to be another 100 wishes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So look, Brian, I understand what they're doing. I understand that they're looking at it as a quick fix, and they need something. I'm wondering now, particularly with the schools that are probably leaving the ACC. Should the ACC and the Big 12 come up with something to help each other out?
Well, we had the alliance, and it lasted
I'm just wondering, beyond the Big 2.
It made Neville Chamberlain's non-aggression pact look good.
And Conference USA is trying to get in on this. What was it, Global something? With that, but it's a. I don't know. I get the question. I kind of get why they're doing it, but I'm just wondering, is that going to bite them a few years down the road?
And Brent, I love the people now that were so adamant about, yes, we want the players to make money. We want the players to have NIL opportunities. And now they don't like it. What did they think it was going to become? I'm still all for it. Did they think it was just going to be a couple of $100?
Yeah, really. Oh yeah. And again,
like some of these bowl gift packages they get. What a couple of CDs?
That's right.
Yeah, and some headphones.
I don't want to watch. I want cold cash.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, and again, this is a discussion on another day, Bryant. But Brett and I've talked about this before. If the NCAA had taken this seriously and not been so afraid, and I don't know what
and greedy.
Yeah, I don't know what the amount would have been, but 10 and 15 years ago, if they had given everybody a flat amount and up the ante, it really makes you wonder if we'd even be there today. Maybe greed would have taken over and so forth. But I think I've said this before. I've got a friend that's a bowl consultant in the past, and that's what he told me. He said, "Look, if the NCAA would have given everybody $25,000 about 10 to 15 years ago, they would have looked at that like it was $1 million.
Sure would.
And that would have calmed some of this down.
Brent, because we know and can remember not that long ago, Brian. I don't know how it was, but it was legal at bowl time to pay the players on the gas mileage rate to get to the bowl cities.
Correct.
And it's why almost nobody, I mean, we're at any school, almost nobody went to the bowl on the team offered, provided a charter or buses because they all wanted to go. And what they would do, I mean, they'd ride 10, 11 deep in one vehicle and all split the cash. And it was cash money when they would get to the bowl city. And they were as excited as you could be over getting, by today's standards, peanuts.
Yeah. Look, I had a father of a former SEC player tell me, said my son on the bowl trip made about $5,000 into Brent's point to the players. That was like getting $500,000.
Oh yeah,
and that was, and what we're talking about so far is all legal. Then you win the bowl game and the victory party back at the hotel just saunter through the lobby, and it was a lot of $100 handshakes.
You better believe there were. Absolutely.
I hope this doesn't come as surprising news to anyone.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, really.
Breaking my idea of what football was and what college athletics once was.
And the same thing for the Final Four hotel.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And regional finals hotel.
Yeah. Right.
I love when basketball kind of wants to act like, no, we've never really done that.
Right.
Yeah, sure they haven't.
Brent, I'm curious. We're only a couple weeks now away from Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC, and we've been talking to other guests this week and last week kind of about both Texas and Oklahoma joining this conference, and I've heard a lot of our guests kind of saying, well, hold up on Texas. I know a lot of people very high on them, but it could be tough for them to start SEC play. What do you think year one looks like for Texas and Steve Sarkisian?
When you look at their schedule, now obviously they've got Michigan and Georgia, they've got Oklahoma, but if they could split some of these series, they could win double-digit games. I think that's.
I got them there. I got them. I'm big on Texas. Brent, have we gotten final resolution on tiebreakers? Because let's say Georgia finished 12-0, but then we had Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas, all at 11-1. Well, Ole Miss doesn't play Bama or Texas. Yeah. Bama doesn't play Texas or Ole Miss. None of those three play each other.
No.
Who's second place?
I don't think we've seen that yet. That would have been all over Twitter for a week.
I don't think they know.
They may not, and could this be something that Sankey announces at media days? Something like that, because that is a really good point. Now, because every media guy, help me on this, every media guy that I ever remember from media days, there is a page in there. There's probably a section on the SEC
in small print.
In this small print, there is a explanation of what if there are ties.
And it's complicated and convoluted down to the eighth thing they key off of. Almost if you get struck by lightning, it's really complicated. We don't even have opening bid like for that scenario I just gave out. Georgia's 12-0. Bama 11-1, Ole Miss 11-1, Texas 11-1, and none of them play each other. Who's second place? Who goes? I think we kind of need to decide that before Thanksgiving weekend.
We do, because it might be one of those. You don't want it to get down to a coin flip here, but no, that's a really good question. No, that is not out yet.
Boy, a coin flip without witnesses there. I bet you right now Ole Miss doesn't win it. with Texas and Alabama in the room.
Yeah. Would they use a special coin for Alabama and Texas, do you think?
Well, it'd be like the old divvying up of the pie, 4 slices with 2 for me.
That's right.
None for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, really.
Well, what about the other 2 pieces?
Oh, man.
But Brian, to finish with your question, I think Texas. If I'm with Brett, I go with double digits for them.
Yeah.
Not yet for Oklahoma. I mean, I think the Jackson Oral Kill is going to be good, and they've got some Michael Tarkin, who used to be at Florida and USC, on the offensive line. But to me, their defense is going to be better, and that surprises you with Brent Venables. That defense is not better, so that's the key.
That is the key, and that's been the Oklahoma trouble long before Brent Venables got there, and they thought he would for sure fix that, being the defensive wizard that he is. And he great coach at Clemson, great coach in the Big 12 with OU, and at Kansas State, great tough player at Kansas State for Bill Snyder. But they're going to have to get a lot more heft on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm.
Brent, I'll show you. I'll show you my work. I'll bring it to media days. I've got my outline of trying to do in lightly shaded pencil W's and L's. I've got more scratch outs already for Oklahoma. I can't get a handle on what I think they're going to do.
I agree. And look, their beat writers would tell you that they think they will be just outside of the playoffs. They're just not sure. I mean, you've got road games at Auburn, Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU, and then at home you've got Tennessee and Alabama. So, I mean, look, with all those games, they could split those games.
I think Houston or Tulane scares the daylights out of them in Norman.
It should. It should. There's no doubt about that.
Maybe not beat them, but you get to the edge of the cliff.
Yes. So it will be now Texas doesn't think they'll have any kind of transition in their arrogance, which they'll discover that is not going to help them in the league. But I do think they're. But I give Sark credit for the roster he's got. But I think Oklahoma's got another year or two before they really are where they want to be.
All right, Brett, this is the third major change we've seen over the last 32 years in the SEC. Arkansas and South Carolina came in for the 92 season. Mizzou and Texas A&M for the 2012 season. Now here in 2 weeks, official, Texas and OU. And in September or late August, we'll see them on the field. Those three additions to the SEC, rank those. What was the best one? What was the second best? And what's last?
Oh, geez. Well, you can't say Arkansas and South Carolina wasn't. I think Missouri was a good.
But I'm talking about collectively coming in with the two. Texas OU's one, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it'd have to be, or at least it would certainly, or at least it would certainly seem to be. South Carolina just has not done enough over the
Won
time.
it in baseball, went to the Final Four in basketball, went to Atlanta. Steve Spurrier got him to Atlanta.
True.
Arkansas's been to Atlanta 3 times, won a national championship in '94, often in Omaha, hadn't won it.
That's a really good question. I'd almost have to think about, with all the other sports combined here, also to where that would go.
I think it's Arkansas, South Carolina second, A&M and Mizzou third.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be fair. Frankly, I think A&M's got a really bright future. They may have 3 of the
We've
best
been hearing
coaches.
that since 2012, though.
Well, we have.
It's always bright future in College Station.
Always.
Yeah. Well, I have more confidence in Elko than I do in Jimbo. I can say that.
But we had more confidence in Jimbo than we did in Kevin Sumlin.
yeah, by far. Yeah, but it's been about the same thing. Look, right now the best thing that I've got going for is George Strait.
At least he didn't fall down the stretch at Sunday night.
That's right.
Amarillo by sunset.
Hey, listen, I hope when I'm 71 years old, I can perform in life like George Strait does. How about that?
I hope I'm eating
Nice.
applesauce and can listen to George
Well.
Strait.
Oh man! On that note, Brent,
Thank you, Brother Brent.
as always for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Good. My pleasure. Take care.
Thanks, Brett. Brent Beard joining us from First Coast News in Jacksonville to talk a lot of college football and plenty to talk about with everything going on around the NCAA. Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, a busy night, Major League Baseball last night. Some interesting games tonight as well, so stick with us. We're talking baseball on the other side.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Cue the fireworks and celebrate Independence Day with the Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale. Save 50% off site-wide and fire up the perfect backyard cookout with tender steaks, juicy burgers, deli-style franks, and more family favorites. Shop today at omahasteaks.com and score an extra $30 off when you use promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Plus, every purchase is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Hurry, because this offer won't last long. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Something amazing is happening in education. Students are inspired and engaged. That's because school districts consulted with CDW, who designed modern classroom solutions with pre-configured HP devices, making learning more accessible, secure, and immersive. Now when students study topics like elephants, it feels like elephants are there with them. HP and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/HPPSG.
For Memphis football. 3, 2, 1, that's your winner! With a cast of returning stars ready for the big stage. The momentum for Memphis football is on the rise. Into the end zone. Tiger touchdown. He's it's time to get first. So purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGo.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. I'm looking at a crash over here in South Memphis. It's northbound on 55 right at Brooks and Elvis Presley. They managed to move it over to the side, and it's flowing a little bit better up through there than it was northbound 55 at Brooks. It's a good thing it wasn't southbound. Now it's really starting to crank up on 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385. Yes, it's slow over here on 240 East, just trying to work your way past Poplar up to Walnut Grove. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry right here in Memphis specializes in bridal ring purchases, and they have since 1984. Go by and see them shop local and save a ton of money at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, Brett, I'm happy to report that last night's game, the 8:38 start time game, did reportedly at least start at 8:38 between the Brewers and the Angels. They were right on schedule.
Right, you could set the nuclear clocks by them. I owe them an apology. See if we can do it 2 nights in a row. But they did it last night. They did, and I had it on the game on MLB Extra Innings, and I'm not kidding you. On my iPhone, as it hit the top hand at 37,
that first pitch
59, that pitch was coming down
great.
Broadway.
Good for them. You know, a wonky time. Don't know why they're doing it at 38. But, hey, if you can stay on schedule, if you can actually do it, by all means, go for it.
And a good game.
It was a really good game. A fun one to end the night.
I couldn't make it to the end. That involved the Brewers, but I couldn't.
Sure, yes. But no, really fun
I can't
game.
get in pit at race mode on June 18th.
No. You gotta give it some time before you really jump into
Cardinal
that.
game took a lot out of me too.
Whew, that one was that was a crazy.
Could we
one.
make a case?
Oh, geez.
That was the win of the year for the Cardinals over the now 26 under 500 Marlins.
I want to say no, but I see where you're coming from, and I kind of agree with you.
You weren't going to crack through over 500 last night against them.
That's right.
That would and to have that lead, to have that Sonny Gray effort, would have just been wasted.
Oh yeah, I would have liked it if it had been a little easier.
Sonny Gray closely becoming entering into the sweating Hall of Fame with Chris Carpenter. Man, he can destroy undershirt game.
You're absolutely right. He sweats a lot. I don't blame him.
That was inside with.
That's true.
I would assume
certainly
regulated air,
not as warm as it would be outside. I can definitely say you would at least think. But yeah, he can sweat it out, and but a good outing for him last night.
Chris Carpenter could sweat in the Aleutians.
That's great.
Well, I guess anybody can. But,
sure, but he would.
I mean, he would sweat through a bodysuit.
That's right. Yes. No, but he Sonny Gray right there with him, sweating it out. Wish it would have been a little easier last night. I was sweating bullets in the 11th and 12th inning, and it felt like both times it was like, all right, they scored a run. 12th inning scored 2. You're like, all right, here we go. And then both times, the bottom of the inning, you were going, oh man, they're gonna lose this one. They're gonna find a way to lose it.
Who would you rather start a team with, Ellie De La Cruz or Mason Wynn?
Oh man,
either's fine.
I think either's fine. I'm gonna go with Ellie right now.
I am too.
But I think Mason's right there behind him.
Now, Cardinal fans and Reds fans are going at it on Twitter, and you know what BFIB, best fans in baseball.
Of course. Who doesn't?
What they call Ellie De La Cruz, Ellie De La Hot Dog.
Why?
Have you seen that?
I've not. I've missed that.
They think he's a showboater. I don't.
Interesting. I don't either.
I think he's great for the game.
I think he's phenomenal. But I guess if you want to be a hater, I could see that. I could see how you can get to that.
No love lost with Cardinals and Reds.
Of course not.
The whole Jason LaRue.
Right.
Yadier Molina.
Sure. Of course. But no, Ellie De La Cruz is phenomenal. And what was it over the weekend where he pass ball, he steals third and then takes home as well. I mean, he's
flying around with chains.
That's
and
right.
Dreads
that's right.
And
his helmet popping off the whole time. No, he's awesome. But speaking of the Reds, they lose last night 4-1 against Paul Skeens and the Pirates. Paul Skeens gives up 1 run in the first inning, was fine after that, but Pirates respond in the bottom of their first with 3 runs. I don't know what it is about when Paul Skeens is on the mound for this Pittsburgh Pirates team, but they give him the run support. Maybe not some of those other pitchers, but when Paul Skeens on the mound, you can bet that there are going to be runs scored for the Pirates.
Well, they know they don't need a whole lot with him.
Sure.
So they just give him a little something. He's rolling.
That's right.
But there have been pitchers. It's funny, the better the pitcher, kind of the better the performance around you, both offensively and defensively. I mean, they almost require it.
It definitely do, and I think it's kind of you see what they're doing on the mound, and you go, man, we gotta respond and definitely do our part offensively. But looking at what he's done this year, I'm trying to see quickly because I know there was a stat that was like first, pitcher that is in his first 3 or 4 starts, the offense has given him 4 runs.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at it, 10 runs first game, the entire game, 9 runs in the second game, 6 in the third, 10, 2. Okay, so his last outing against the Cardinals, they only scored 2. I forgot about that. That was a very low-scoring game. And now 4. So the offense is certainly working for the most part when Paul Skeens is on the mound. That's impressive.
And some great matchups tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I would take either of these teams, either of these matchups tonight, Marlins at Guardians
that's
or Orioles at Yankees. Either one of those for ALCS I take right now.
Yeah, no, those are 2 really good ones, and I love it. An early game for me watching the Mariners instead of having to stay up till first pitch 9 o'clock. But that'll be fun against a good Guardians team. That might be game of the night. But you're right. Orioles and Yankees.
Their body clock is 3:40.
Oh yeah, it's super early, and that's why I always sit there and think about when any of those teams in Seattle go on the road. I mean, for those players and for the fans, I mean, you're trying to get out of work early to see the game.
Now I know just one game, and during the course of a year, usually most of his career 8 games. Pete Carroll had that down with Seahawks going cross country.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. He knew how to get it done, and certainly played out for him. Those guys were ready to play. But we were talking, going over to that Orioles and Yankees game, we were talking last week about the Royals and how hard it had been for them. They had the Yankees and then had to turn around and play the Dodgers, and now they're getting rewarded a little bit. They've got the Athletics starting tonight. But, man, same thing for the Orioles here. Just got done a weekend series against the Phillies where they played really well, got 2 of 3, and now have to turn right around and face the Yankees. That is not easy for a young team like the Orioles.
Schedule makers weren't kind to them, and I think a good one at Wrigley tonight with Giants 1 under 500, 36 and 37 against the Cubs. There are a lot of teams that need to make a go for it right now, and you look at the wild card standings, especially in the National League. Just imagine what a 6 out of 8 run will do for you.
No, you're definitely
you can get some separation.
Certainly, and we talk so much, looking at the standings of how close a bunch of those teams are, and you're right. I mean, if you can go on a little bit of a run, you feel a whole lot better. Speaking of teams going on runs. The New York Mets, they have now won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games, 7 of their last 8, and I believe all of this started.
Help on the way with injuries.
Help on the way, you're absolutely right. But, Brett, all of this started because Grimace, one of the great mascots for McDonald's, threw out the first pitch.
What a bad pitch.
One bad pitch, and they have been on a roll ever since.
He's got little bitty short arms.
Well, he certainly does. Makes it hard to throw a baseball. But in their last 2 games, 11 runs against San Diego on Sunday, last night against the Texas Rangers, 14 runs, a 14-2 win for them.
The big Grimace turnaround.
How about that? I mean, shout out Grimace, I guess.
What does Mr. Met have to say about it?
Oh, you're right. Mr. Met can't be happy about that, getting all his shine taken away from him.
Yeah.
Not great.
Mets now at 37 losses in the all-important loss column. They're tied with the Giants.
Wow.
Right now, the Giants sit in third for the last National League wild card.
So, I mean, right back to it. Everybody is just neck and neck there.
Right there.
It's so compact especially when you're talking about the wild card races. Now, still very early, but very compact in the standings.
Go win 6 out of 8, and you can really do some damage. And for the Cardinals, they finish up tonight, and it's an earlier start. Every schedule says 5:40, but it's been moved up to 5:10 to accommodate or to help out for crowds and things and traffic for the Florida Panthers hosting the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Then tomorrow at 11:40 Memphis time in Miami, and then on Thursday in Birmingham at Rick Wood against San Francisco, and very rare in-season off day on Friday before playing the Giants in St. Louis Saturday and Sunday. And then a long homestand.
You're absolutely right about that. So that will definitely be fun. Now, I understand what Miami's doing. I'm glad that they're trying to do something. Everybody very excited about tonight's game between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. But saying that, Lone Depot Park is very much in Miami, whereas the Florida Panthers rink is nowhere near Miami. I mean, it's an hour outside of Miami. What are they doing? I mean, maybe if you want to try to get that done and get guys, I don't know. But certainly, I don't know. I mean, it's not like those two places are right next to each other.
The Marlins now play what they call Lone Depot Park. It's been a lot of names. It was just Marlins Park for a long time.
It sure was, yeah.
Isn't it on the site of the old Orange Bowl football stadium, the legendary stadium that had so many games?
I think it is. Games? I think it is. So I mean,
and they've taken the big fish tank out.
They have, yeah. Oh, that's a sore
Cardinal
subject.
Announcers
with,
were. Oh, is it?
It's a sore subject with Marlins fans. I've heard that they all were very upset that was taken out.
Wait a second. Sore subject with Marlins fans. You mean all 9 of them are mad over it?
Yes. The ones that show up. Yes, they're mad about it. And the big sculpture in the outfield that would, whenever they'd hit a home run, the fish would
light
come up and light. Yeah, all that. They took that out.
It's gone too?
It's gone too, yeah.
Times are tough, right.
Yeah, very tough.
Times are tough in South FLA. Times are great at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Head down Highway 78. First exit into Mississippi is Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there at the home of All-Star Chevy where all the new Silverados are. Some mark 12% off invoice. 12% off invoice, I just said. One sweet buyer's market that we are in. Financing as low as 1.9. No payments for 90 days on new Silverados, Equinox, Trailblazers, and more. Nothing beats a family trip in a new Tahoe. And an extra $500 bonus back for college students, grads, military, healthcare workers, teachers, first responders, all those people that we thank so much for everything they do for us. No matter what pre-owned you're looking for, find it at All-Star during the All-American Pre-Owned sale at All-Star Chevrolet. All the Ram trucks, all the Jeeps, even a Ram ProMaster cargo van, and 4Runners, all in Olive Branch where you can test drive every one of these vehicles. Bring All-Star any vehicle you want to sell, and you get a check, and you'll get it on the spot. Everyone at All-Star looking forward to the big celebration on the 4th of July, celebrating our great country's Independence Day. Don't miss All-Star Chevy's All-American sale in Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
50-minute drive between where the Marlins play and where the Panthers play. Just driving.
There's no traffic.
No traffic.
Why are we doing this?
I don't know.
But
it's
okay,
Miami.
whatever.
Hey, good for them. Look, they're hosting a championship game tonight, so I cannot blame them at all.
My
They
Panthers.
can do whatever. Your Panthers, they can do
I need
whatever
to be
they want.
there. I
You
need
do.
to be at the Cardinal game early and then there
That's
for
right.
my Panthers throwing a big old rat out on the
Well, you
ice.
certainly need the beam
Almost said
because
court.
you're learning. At least you stopped yourself. But you definitely need the beam machine because you're not going to be able to drive there and make it to both. 50 minutes. That is not an easy drive from two places that say they play in Miami. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event, and it's going strong at Dawson Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We got it! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to a signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX3, $57 a month, both $39.99 to its signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P561 0964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP 21820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool's been put away. Now's the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hard-working tools at hard-working prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for us at Harbor Freight.
Marty McNade at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown is turning back prices to give you the best deal in this decade.
Doc gave me orders to turn back time with the 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE. We got it for $249 a month, and it gets 42 miles per gallon highway. That's much better than my DeLorean, Randy.
You got that right, Marty McNade. And I hear at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, you got choices.
Take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or 2024 Teos SE for $279.28 a month.
Great Scott, McNade. That's Gossett Volkswagen Germantown on Winchester Road. Plus, get 0% for 60 months on Taos.
Your future is whatever you make of it, Randy, so get to Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com.
Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today comes from the NBA after last night's NBA Finals win for the Boston Celtics. It is a year, 2011. That was the year that Kyrie Irving was taken number 1 overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2011 NBA draft. But it was also the year that Joe Mazzulla entered his name into the NBA draft. So last night, the starting point guard for the Dallas Mavericks and the head coach for the Boston Celtics were both a part of the same 2011 draft class. One was taken number 1 overall, one was undrafted and started his coaching career and led him to his first NBA championship this year.
Great
How about
note.
that?
Great note.
Thank you.
Kyrie Irving came out of this perceived better, didn't he?
Certainly. 100%.
In that 5 years that we were divvying up championships, any room for Dallas in that 5?
It's going to be tough. I think I have less faith in that than a lot of the other teams we mentioned.
I do too. A lot, and that's with 2 dominant players that are worth going to see both times they come to FedEx Forum.
Oh, yeah, every time.
Next year. My big number is 200. Last night was Ollie Marmal's 200th win as manager of the Cardinals. Wonder if it was a moving ceremony like it was for Penny Hardaway's 100th win.
Oh, man. It may be.
Any big cake post-game back in the clubhouse?
Who knows?
And it only puts him behind Tony La Russa as all-time winningest Cardinal manager.
Oh, man.
By 1,208 wins.
Oh, yeah.
1,208 to go to catch Tony La Russa's 1,408.
No, not very close.
So that's 100 wins a year, roughly, for the next 12 years he would have to catch Tony La Russa.
Yeah, good luck.
As Cardinal winningest manager.
Good luck. Not going to happen.
But he only trails Mike Schilt by 52 wins.
All right.
Mike Schilt won 252.
Is that the bar we're setting?
He could, and I say should, catch Schilt this year.
I think should.
And you add 52 to 36. That's in the playoff mix.
Certainly, 100%. Definitely in the mix. That's a good number.
He should do that.
He should. We'll see if he does. But you're right. He definitely should. Some other interesting players from this 2011. I just pulled it up to see who else was in this 2011 draft. I guess that was drafted.
Where did Joe Mazzulla play college? I'm sorry.
West Virginia.
I didn't know that.
He was at West Virginia, undrafted, and then went immediately into coaching. But some other notable names from that draft. So I mentioned Kyrie
Was he
Irving.
on the West Virginia team that went to the Final Four?
He might have
With
been.
Pitt Snoggle and company a few years, like in 08? Or not 08. Wait, no, 08.
Certainly
Wasn't
not
08. Maybe 2010?
He might have been.
He might have been.
He definitely could have been.
I don't remember him. I'm sorry. Other drafts that year?
So other guys drafted that year, other notable names. You've got Kawhi Leonard, another great name. Jimmy Butler, also in that draft. Kemba Walker in that draft. Tristan Thompson, also taken in 2011. Some really good names. Reggie Jackson in here. Tobias Harris. Kyle Singler, some good. Chandler Parsons, our buddy Chandler Parsons, who isn't shy about saying what he thinks about Memphis. Some good names in this 2011
Well,
draft.
don't let the door hit you, Chandler.
Yes. Yeah. So 2010 was West Virginia Final Four. Joe Mazzulla. Let's see when he was there. Yeah, he was there 2006 to 2011, so he was definitely on that team. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I bet he knows all about tough practices.
Oh, he sure does. I've heard him talk a couple times about some of those practices at West Virginia, and he said it's not for the fan heart. That's what everybody
Who was
says.
the good guard on that West Virginia team? It was Pitt Snoggle, and who was the guard? I can't remember his name. Ed Gummit.
And I can't look it up fast.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're good. Let's see. 2009.
I can see him and can't think of his name. But that was Huggins' last Final Four team.
It sure was. And last time West Virginia has come anywhere close to it.
Yeah.
And I can't even go back to find stats from that year to find out. But I want to know what Joe Mazzulla did in college. What were his numbers at West Virginia?
Well, it looks like he listened a lot.
Oh, he certainly listened a lot and got a lot out of it. And, I mean, you look at that. I mean, his coaching, just where he started and had to go. I mean, Glenville State is where he started as an assistant in 2011.
Tough job.
Then an assistant at Fairmont State. Then took an assistant job
That's
with
all
the
in West Virginia.
Maine Red Claws.
Yeah.
Then back at Fairmont State as a head coach for 2 years. And then with Boston, and now has worked his way up in Boston. Started in Boston in 2019.
When Johnny West was playing at West Virginia, famous father, Jerry West, and has a statue outside the arena at Press, Virginia. And one night after a game, one of the star rebounders had played really bad and had only had one rebound, and they said Huggins was laying it on him and cussing a blue streak and called out this player. And he goes, "I want you to look at Johnny West, and I want you and Johnny to go out in front of the arena. His dad's statue only had one less rebound than you tonight."
Oh, man. That is great. I mean, that certainly checks out with all the other stories I've heard of some of those games and practices and locker rooms. Good stuff for sure. And good for Joe Mazzulla last night getting his first championship as a head coach. But let's go ahead and wrap up our second hour, get to a break, and when we come back, we're talking a whole lot of NFL with Beau Marchant.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Progressive asks, what do an escaped leopard,
We're live from the zoo where a leopard has escaped.
a growling stomach, an uneaten tuna sandwich, and a backdoor doggy door have in common? They can lead to an unexpected kitchen renovation.
Yeah, hi. Is this the zoo? Your leopard is in my kitchen.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's time to ride during the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event. Check out 43 MPG Highway in a new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,935 or $249 a month. Need extra room for your vacation? Let Gossett make it happen with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander. $30,490 or $449 per month. And go for miles and miles with 420 total range in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. $599 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi. 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate, 500 royalty rebate. Mirage Outlander 84 months. Mirage RHO 10934. MSRP 18435. Outlander RZO 55981. MSRP 31490. PHEV RZO 35245. MSRP 48065. Includes 1095 acquisition fee. Sale price includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes processing fee of $695. Lease terms includes processing fee of $695. 15 cents per mile excess wear and tear. With approved credit, see dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Lowest interest rates on the planet because we never stop thinking about it. Financing on any purchase. Full tennis bracelets, 5-star rings starting at only $35 here at Blackburn Diamond Stud Earrings, just $115. Don't spread your payments over 5 years. 0 interest. Spending spans, money, jewelry, and products, margins, nothing's held back. Now through June 30th only at Genesis Diamonds. Approved credit, see store for details.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's pretty heavy over here now as we stare at it live on 240 East as you come past Billmore's Parkway, working your way up to Popular, going outbound Sam Cooper. That's gotten a little bit heavier in the last few minutes as you come past Perkins. Now it's really busy now southbound on 240 trying to get out of the Midtown area here at South Parkway all the way down to Norris. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. Check out TomahawkCrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. National Football League talk every Tuesday with Beau Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Beau Marchant. Here's Beau with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now to talk the NFL. Plenty of news out there as a lot of guys are starting to report. A lot of mandatory mini camps are underway across the country. But, Bo, we've got to start off with the big news from last week. Trevor Lawrence has inked an extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people have been talking about it. Did he deserve that much? Did he deserve that many years? What did you make of Trevor Lawrence's extension?
It's just the market. And, depending on, the quarterback or, it's just where we are with the game. Quarterbacks, I think when we see anybody get this type of money, we're not accustomed to it. It still kind of shocks us when you see a guy, no matter how good they are, signing a deal in football where they're going to make $55 million a year. We think you have to be a Patrick Mahomes, but that's the market. And if you're not, has Trevor Lawrence lived up to what we thought he might be? He hasn't got there yet, but nonetheless, for Jacksonville to shut the book on Trevor Lawrence and go in another direction is something you do not want to do. So, you got to pay the guy, and it's, I think it's a good contract. I still think he's a good quarterback. I still think he can be, an elite guy, but nonetheless, they got it locked up. And today's NFL, if you have a young, great arm, a great prospect, a guy you believe in, it's such a luxury, and look at a team that I cover in the Steelers. You got an aging Russell Wilson, and you got a unproven guy that was a draft bust in Justin Fields. If things don't work out, they have to go back to the drawing board in 2025. And do they go free agency or do they go through the draft? And that's just another unknown. So when you have a guy like Trevor Lawrence, at the end of the day, you're very fortunate and you're happy to re-sign him and you're happy to have him long term.
And you're right. It's mostly market driven. It's market forces. That's where we've established the money now. I think back to some of the contracts that people were outraged over, and it's just really small money compared to this, and they're only going to get bigger. It's not going down. And the Jaguars, they decided that there's probably a lot of people that they'd rather have, but those teams aren't giving those guys up. And he's got to be much better than the teams behind him, and he's got to make up ground on some of those in front of him.
Yeah, and to his credit, the Urban Meyer thing was a disaster his rookie season, and he got through that. Now they, have Doug down there as the head coach. So, the year one was kind of a wash for him and everybody in Jacksonville. It's just kind of a reset and, kind of growing into that. And they put a lot into it. They're a growing team. I think we look at the AFC South, or at least I do. And, I know Vrabel and the Titans, while he was there, they have their seasons where they look like a dominant team. They faded away. Then you had Houston, who didn't come alive till last year. And you have Jacksonville, and then you have the Colts, who, they're just kind of, one of the, division that we don't really think a lot of because they're not elite. And you just thought with Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence that they would kind of grab hold of that division and they would kind of be the leader in the clubhouse. But that kind of really never materialized with Lawrence there. And even, Houston won the division last year. So I think those are some of the things, at least for me, when I think of, what is holding Jacksonville back, we always look at the quarterback and, and that's just the way it is. And he's not the problem. He's definitely the solution. Without him, they would probably be in dire straits. But nonetheless, it's the division where you think with Lawrence, especially when he was coming out of Clemson, you thought, okay, this is the time Jacksonville kind of takes the lead and they become a dominant team.
And next week, today is Tuesday, June 18th. Next Tuesday, we start our division countdown with quarterback rankings and a new twist this year that I'm getting ready to spring on y'all.
Uh-oh.
We're going to rank the quarterbacks next week in the AFC West. That's pretty easy. We're also this year going to rank the coaches in each division.
Ooh.
Starting next week, we'll go AFC West, NFC West, AFC South, NFC South, AFC North, NFC North, AFC East, NFC East. Then on Tuesday, August 20th, we'll have AFC predictions. Tuesday, August 27th, NFC predictions. And then Tuesday, September 3rd, it's game week, Bo.
Oh, it's beautiful. We all have lives outside of the game, but when the season
I really
starts,
don't, Bo. I really don't.
Well, you know what? Well, you know what it is. I guess, Brett, is we love the game, and sometimes it's nice that we love doing what we do, and I know like there's certain times, and we had we call it a supper club with some other couples, and I love doing the supper club. But they were like, "Hey, August 17th." I'm like, "Oh, we're getting into the season." I'm like, "I will not be there. I'll be covering the Steelers preseason game." And not that you want to skip out on the supper club, but you're just so fired up that you know that you're not doing anything else except watching football. So that's the time of year that we're entering, and training camp. Getting the schedule last week and just kind of starting to pick out the dates, knowing that from July 24th, basically through the summer, I'll be in Latrobe, and then the season starts, college football starts, and then we're off and running.
I've got one of my nephews says anytime we ask Brett to do anything, sorry, got a game, got it's football season, got to go to an NCAA tournament, got to do this.
I get that too. Oh, let me guess, you have a game this weekend. I do.
That's great. Well, Bo, you mentioned the Steelers, and you mentioned Justin Fields. I've seen a lot of reports today talking about Justin Fields kind of struggling at camp. What have you seen, not only from him, but both of those new quarterbacks, as it's a lot of new at the quarterback position up in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't think he's done anything to dazzle. When you look at him, though, and I could see why you do get caught up in the hype if you look at the kid. First of all, his personality is fantastic. I mean, he's just a terrific young man. And then you see the physical specimen he is, and then you see the athleticism. I mean, he does pop a play here or there where you're like, wow, you know why this kid is special. I mean, that's it. But then you have the hiccups and some of the things and, the miscues, and it's great. It's shoulder pad, or it's non-pads, or they're shorts, and you don't try to put too much of it. It's just a matter of him, this game slowing down for him. And that's what Arthur Smith has to do. And the trick in this is, you assume, and Mike Tomlin said, Russell Wilson's in pole position. So that means he's a starter. And if Justin Fields can move the needle in training camp, maybe he unseats him. I doubt that happens. Russell Wilson misses time. Justin comes in. This could be his last legitimate shot at, possibly going into 2025 viewed as a starter and not a backup. So, how much time does he see? And I'm sure, you're the Steelers. You don't want Russell Wilson to miss time. You figure he's going to be the starter. You want him to play all the time. And if Fields comes in, it might be some, off play where, it's a kind of a Cordell Stewart, kind of a wildcat type things, and, wonder where the ball's going to go. But, it's physical. I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it. I can say I've seen it at Ohio State, but seen it against other pros. I mean, it is. You do hope the light comes on and he figures it out, because I mean, it's there. It's kind of like, you see it's there. It's just, kind of, getting it out and getting that
and being consistent with
it. Yeah, just being consistent, and it's not been there. I mean, I've seen it. I don't know how much I can talk about when we do this, because everything's so tight-lipped about OTAs. But for everything you see something crazy, you sometimes see a couple things, just balls, and you're like, oh man, like where just kind of I guess ugly, if you will. Sometimes things are very gorgeous from Justin Fields, and there's been a couple times where it's just like, oh man, if you didn't do that, I bet when the Steelers are breaking down tape after practice, they'd be a little bit happier.
But the Steelers are banking on maybe not it being the reclamation project exactly like this one, but remember Steve Young in Tampa, and then he sits behind Joe Montana. And I know that's Joe Montana, not sitting behind Russell Wilson, and then they got the greatest football out of him.
Brett, that's a great point, and that's the fun part of this. I mean, who would have thought Joe Flacco was sitting home for the first, 6 weeks of the season, and then he leads the Cleveland Browns.
Made noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, so it's, you can't write Justin Fields off, and maybe Arthur Smith and him connect, and something happens, and as we've seen, things do happen, and we don't know, and, I mean, he's fun to watch, and I probably sound like a broken record throughout the show so far, but I mean, when you see him and the things that he can do in his athleticism, it's from the human eye, you're like, wow, this kid's got it, But for the Steelers, it's going to be a weird season. Again, you got Russell, you got to hope he's successful. If something happens, you got to hope Justin is. But I know I mentioned it last week. I still think, even with a Justin Fields and the learning process and turnover prone, I still think he gives them a better opportunity to win than Kenny Pickett, and I still believe in Russell Wilson. And I kind of get, sometimes we all get stuck in the notion of something we believe, and we end up not being right. But we'll just continue to kind of knock our head against the wall, thinking that. But I still think there's a little bit of life left in Russell Wilson, and I think Arthur Smith can get that out of him. I know Tomlin, or I shouldn't say I know Tomlin, but just I just think Tomlin is very happy, sleeps better at night, having a veteran like Russell Wilson, heading into this season. I just think this gives the team a lot of opportunity. Talking to the receivers down at camp, I talked to Calvin Austin, and he kind of, he wasn't bad mouthing Kenny Pickett at all, but he just said, there is a veteran presence, there is something about a guy who has that type of knowledge. And listen, even if you're a Kenny Pickett or any other young quarterback, you do have to acknowledge that a guy that has that experience probably has a little upper hand, maybe not as athletic, or the things don't work like they did when they were 25. But nonetheless, Elway said it, Ray Lewis said it, all the greats have said it. They might not be as good as they were in the early days, but they learned a lot to still make them better than a lot of other guys.
Are you ready for the Hard Knock cameras to be around? They're going to cover the entire AFC North, so they'll be right there by you at all the camp.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch my mouth, Brett. I'm going to have to be very curious of the cameras, I guess. So yeah, no, it's the Steelers don't want it, or at least it's one of the things. But nonetheless, it should make it interesting. I feel bad for the staff. I know they got their hands full, and it's probably just another thing that they got to probably find out more credentials. So Bert, Angela, Mike, Micaiah, love you guys, and it's probably a little bit more work on their shoulders, but I'm sure they'll get through it. But that's one of the first things I thought about is, the PR crew, they'll get stuck with the brunt of the labor to get all the Hard Knocks people set up and where to go and through everything that kind of falls on their behalf. And I'm sure it's something they probably is like, oh man, what else can they throw at us? But they'll be up to the task.
I know no franchise, no team, no college team, no anybody would ever do this. But what I would love to see is one year with the Hard Knocks crew, you can go and you can film anything you want. Get whatever you want. Report whatever you see.
Wow. If you did that, it would be great reality television. We know back in the day, and probably because we first saw it, but, the first couple of years of Hard Knocks, I think they kind of delved into that. And we did get to see a lot that we never saw before. I'm not going to lie, guys. I can't remember the last time I watched Hard Knocks. I think when
I've never watched a second of it.
I watched it when it came out. I did. And one of the last ones I watched was when Gruden was coach for the Raiders, and the second time. And it was, I think that's when they drafted the 3 rookies after the Khalil Mack trade. So whatever year that was. And I think when Cleon Farrell, one of those guys, were at a horse farm or something. But that's the last episode. It's to me, it's too made for television. It's not authentic.
It's not authentic. They're not letting the real cameras in. It's why I was averse to it from the beginning and never watched a single solitary second, because I know they're not going to really let them show the good stuff.
Yeah. And I'm down at the facility. You still almost don't see a lot. It's right. Maybe cameras would pick that up, but things are, it's run. You got your pass, and you can walk here, you can't walk there. You're allowed in here, and you're not allowed in there. And I get it. I get it. They just don't want media roaming around through the Steelers facility or any facility in the National Football League. But I imagine they would not want cameras just kind of sneaking in Tomlin's office when he's, scolding a player or something like that.
Or cutting a player.
Cutting a play or, meeting rooms, to pick up things and somebody gets so. But I guess, the one thing I think they could do more of, and granted they might, I haven't seen it, but the locker room chatter, if you will, when those guys are just talking to each other like last week, they were joking. The Georgia guys were saying that no practice is hotter than in Georgia. Broderick Jones was saying, when they practiced in Georgia, the summer heat, nowhere was hotter. And the West Coast guys are saying, listen, if we practice in Vegas, you're not going to beat Vegas. And it's just them kind of just scorching each other and they're guys, they're friends and they're just talking. I think that's the fun part, that I would like to hear. If you could pick up on that, things of that nature, I think that would go a long way to, just we call it water cooler talk or coffee table talk. You go to work the next day, you get to talk to somebody about it. I think those are the type of stories, at least for me, they resonate because, you're in the locker room, everybody's laughing because you're just, you're hearing these guys, joke. And then, Broderick's yelling over the Daryl Washington, the tight end, because he went to Georgia. Daryl's like, man, it was hot, but, Vegas is like 115 hot, man. He goes, we're not, it's another level. And he was like, Broderick, he wasn't standing down. He was like, no, our practices were the hottest.
That's great. Yeah, I would love a little more of that in Hard Knocks. But I'm curious, with more mandatory camps coming up and a lot more players getting back and starting to kind of ramp up for the season, what team do you look at and have kind of the most questions about before as we enter into this upcoming season?
I think off the cuff, you got to go New England with Belichick not being there and Jared Mayo. I just think, this guy's got to replace a lesson, and we're not expecting this guy to go, make the playoffs or even have success because we know just how disastrous the roster was that Belichick left, and it's a lot of pick-up pieces and how rebuilding this whole thing up. So I think that you got Jared Mayo as a coach, you got Drake May, the young rookie quarterback. So it just how far can this team go? Did they find success early? Something where we look at next year where wow, that they can be a contender this quick, or we find like wow, this is going to be a long process for Mayo and May to kind of get over the hump, and he's made the right guy. So I think the Patriots, just because of Belichick, I think that has to be, at least in my mind, the biggest story. Maybe not the biggest story, but I think if you talk about change, you're talking about the greatest coach in the history of the league is no longer there, and they have a rookie quarterback and a new coach. So I think to me that's a lot.
This is harder. This is bigger than even Jimmy Johnson replacing Tom Landry. This is Phil Bankston replacing Vince Lombardi.
This is rough. I mean, it's Bill Belichick, and people like to get sour on Bill, and and all these things. But hey, look at the statistics. I mean, he was
look at the trophies,
the trophies, and 10-win seasons, and just dominating the division for almost 2 decades. It's just go back in your history books. It just doesn't happen on that level. It just, I think 2018 was their last Super Bowl, something close to that. It wasn't like this guy hasn't won in a long time. He was right there. So I just have to think it is. And if he comes back next year in terms of Belichick coaching next year, the Patriots and whatever team he's going to play, they'll be playing each other. So that'll just add another element. But I just think with Mayo, the young quarterback, Kraft, the Patriots, the Patriot way, all these young fans that grew up, it's changed, and to see how it works. It's you imagine, we talk about a lot, Patriots fans, you just say you're 10 years old, now you're 20.
We did earlier. About it.
Yeah.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't know anything better.
All they know are parades.
That's right.
Celtics, Red Sox, Bruins, and Patriots about every other year, it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at least they get to live off the high of the Celtics from last night. But football season's here, and who knows? And the division's finally gotten better. That's the other thing. The Patriots were dominant, but the Dolphins, the Jets, and Miami, they're just the Bills. They were awful. Just they could never find the right ingredients to be successful throughout that whole tenure of the Patriots' reign. And nothing to take the period from the Patriots, but you thought maybe one of these times, Ryan had a couple good years with the Jets, but, with Mark Sanchez, but you knew they weren't the team. They were just kind of a, gritty, we got you today, but, we're never going to get you long term. And that's how it happened. But finally, they've been dethroned. They've been defeated, if you will. They're knocked off the pedestal. And, the Bills kind of have the thing. And, we look at Miami, up-and-coming team, Jets with Aaron Rodgers, if he stays healthy. I think it's a wide open division. I think right now, sitting here, June 18th? Yeah, I don't think the Patriots have a shot to win the AFC East, but I think the 3 other teams, I think they're all equally inclined to win that division.
Yeah. Bo Marchant with us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Bo, that first NFL blockbuster weekend, we got games on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. The Friday night game will be the Packers and the Eagles in Sao Paulo. What franchise would you rather be a part of right now, the kind of going forward? We know the Eagles have had good years the last few years, but would you rather be in that Packer locker room organization or in the Eagle locker room organization?
I think I'd rather be in the Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts has proven that he is a top-flight elite quarterback. A.J. Brown's an elite guy. Smith is an elite guy. They bring in Saquon Barkley there in the Super Bowl, 2 years ago. So I think that I still think the Packers are. They played fantastic in the playoffs, and you could argue that they had the 49ers on the ropes. I mean, they had a great 49ers team about to tap out, but the 49ers got through. So I think the fluke against Dallas, it wasn't a fluke against Dallas. They came to life in the playoffs under Matt LaFleur, so props to him. But that said, Nick Sirianni, that team was rolling. Mid-season disaster, and they fell apart. They looked awful, lost first round against Tampa, which I remember driving back from the Steelers game that night, listening to it on the New York Turnpike, and I just could not believe that the Eagles were going to lose that. I still thought they would right the ship, but nonetheless they couldn't. But that said, I just think the Eagles have a lot of firepower. They know how to win. They've been there. I just think that they're still, to me, a team that can be, in the final game, of the season in the Super Bowl and be victorious in that particular game. I love some of the pieces. We know they went heavy on all those Georgia defenders in the draft. I think those guys are going to come around. I like this draft this past year. They needed DBs. They got 2 great DBs in the draft. Granted, they got to pan out, but at least they had an issue, they had a problem, and they got to try to solve it with 2 fantastic talents. So I'd definitely go Eagles, but I wanted not that the Packers aren't in a good spot, but for me right now, I would much rather be in the Eagles facility thinking, hey, we have a shot at a ring this year.
Definitely. Well, Bo, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week when we start ranking quarterbacks and this time coaches. How about that?
AFC West coaches and quarterbacks. Next week, Bo, the countdown begins.
Well, Aiden O'Connell's 1 and Gardner Minshew's 2, and then I'll get to the other 2 guys, I guess.
I love it.
Nobody else has that.
No.
Thank you, Bo.
Thanks, Bo.
Have a great week, gentlemen.
You got it, man. You got it.
I would love if that's Bo's 1 and 2. I mean, I love a good off-the-wall list, but
I do too.
I doubt that's what he brings to the table next week.
Bo Marchant with us every week. He was on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and the hometown Tigers. New location. It's been open since early December at 4542 Poplar right there in Laurelwood at Poplar and Perkins. Bill Jones, his great team, here to stay. Some they blow in and blow out overnight. Not Sissy's Log Cabin, part of the fabric of the community, supporters of Tigers athletics. And when we get into football season, they'll be sponsor of our look back every weekend of the weekend in the SEC. They have the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings, 9,000 square feet in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and much more. Official jeweler for the Grizzlies and FedEx Forum, and with the FedEx Forum, the floor seat lounge that we all can enjoy. We look forward to getting back to FedEx Forum next year for Grizzlies and Tigers. Sissy's offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and truly an extraordinary shopping experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
It's time to ride during the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event. Check out 43 MPG Highway in a new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,935 or $249 a month. Need extra room for your vacation? Let Gossett make it happen with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $30,490 or $449 per month. And go for miles and miles with 420 total range in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, $599 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate, 500 royalty rebate. Mirage Outlander 84 months. Mirage RHO 10934. MSRP 18435. Outlander RZO 55981. MSRP 31490. PHEV RZO 35245. MSRP 48065. Includes 1095 acquisition fee. Sale price includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes processing fee of $695. Lease terms includes processing fee of $695. 15 cents per mile excess wear and tear. With approved credit, see dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. It's going strong at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Are you ready to ride in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway? We Gossett! 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $34.99 to a signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. And 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease. And get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Rebates and incentives. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P561 0964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP 21820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports. Former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Pretty crowded now, trying to get out of the Midtown area, both north and southbound. Over here on 240 up by Norris, working your way down past South Parkway as well. It remains crowded. This is not going to surprise you. 240 east over here at Poplar, working your way towards Walnut Grove as that traffic really cranks up now on 40 eastbound from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. Make it TomahawkCrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you for about 30 more minutes, a little less than 30 minutes as we wrap up today's show. A couple things I wanted to get to during What's Trending. Brett, you have the numbers for last night. I want to get to that in a second. The ratings for the Boston Celtics and Dallas Mavericks Game 5. But, man, what a start to the Cardinals and Marlins game. Already 5 runs scored in the first inning. 2 home runs in the first inning. How about that?
2 for the Cardinals in the top of the frame, 3 for the Marlins in the bottom. Lance Lynn just hang in there. The bullpen for the Cardinals, it's taxed.
Yes,
it's spent.
It is. It sure is. So they need 5 or 6 innings out of Lance Lynn before
almost a must with the quick turnaround early game tomorrow, then the travel to Birmingham and the game Thursday in Birmingham.
That's right. So you definitely need him to try to go long tonight and save some of those arms in the bullpen.
That's a 6:15 game in Birmingham on Thursday night. It'll be hot in Birmingham at 6:15.
It's going to be real hot in Birmingham.
But great ceremony ahead for Major League Baseball, and tonight in minor league baseball with the game at Rickwood tonight.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I know that one's on MLB Network tonight, so that'll be fun to watch and get a taste of what you'll see later this week when the Cardinals are down there.
Fresh from the ESPN PR department, ABC's exclusive coverage of the Boston Celtics, decisive record-setting NBA victory over the Mavericks won the night across all of television and in all key demographics for every night of the NBA Finals, according to Nielsen. NBA Finals Game 5 averaged 12.2 million viewers and peaked at 13.2. In addition, the 2024 NBA Finals presented by YouTube TV set a viewership record for the largest share of audience in the coveted 18 to 30 demographics ever.
Wow, that's big time.
That is.
That's definitely a huge nugget.
So, do ratings matter or not?
Well, that's a good question because that would tell you ratings
when you got
matter.
them, you tell me they matter.
Certainly, but when you don't have them, then they don't matter. I mean,
and if they don't matter, should on-air talent be that worried about it?
Well, that's.
I mean, how do you go to a person, guy or gal, and go, we need to make a change, ratings are down?
Sure.
Well, I thought they didn't matter.
That's right. That's a very good question.
And who will be in that chair that J.J. Redick will vacate next year?
That's another good question.
So next year, it'll be Mike Breen, it'll be Doris Burke, who will be that third voice.
I have no idea.
Who should it be?
I still have no idea.
Why don't we finally give Hubie the shot?
That'd be great. I'd be completely fine with that. I would love that.
But will Hubie really appeal to 18 and 34?
No, not at all. That's what I was about to say. I think you'd probably want to go somebody younger than that. But
in J.J. Redick, I don't know if it was, that was the pregame show.
Sure.
But he appeals to that.
He absolutely does. And that definitely helps. And so it'll be interesting to see, what way they go. But I think with those numbers, I would not be surprised if they went someone young, maybe, a guy fresh out of the league, a couple years out of the league that, wants to get into something like that and throw him on there and, see how it goes.
NBA Countdown averaged 4 million viewers for the 5 NBA games.
That's a little surprising. I'm kind of surprised about that.
I thought a little light.
Well, I thought the other way. I
did?
I did not figure that many people would be tuning into the pregame show.
remember, game day average is about 2.5, 3 million.
Yeah, but that game day, that's a different monster. I mean, that is something that has set itself aside, that's football. I just don't. I mean, when I wake up on Saturday mornings, I'm saying I got to watch game day. There's no day of the NBA season that I say I've got to watch whatever NBA pregame show there is.
But remember this about college football: game day, big noon, and the day and the night in college football. Please remember this, everyone. And it's the second biggest ratings getter out there other than NFL. It's played on the graveyard day of TV ratings.
Certainly.
On Saturday.
That's right. And
you got an old man running around in a helmet at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning getting that kind of number.
You're definitely right about that. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised that it got that much. The pregame show, because I don't figure that many people are watching the pregame show for the
World
NBA
Series ratings are mostly in. I want to be fair. I would say NBA a tick above. I would say over the last 10 World Series.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I'm going to use this 10, 11, 12, 13 number in baseball comes in about 9, 10, or 11.
That's right. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Now, remember when baseball's World Series is going off, though.
That's a good point.
In the middle of the football monster.
That's right. It's a little harder then. Instead of on June
NBA, what have
17th,
they been battling? The
nothing.
French Open?
Yeah, I mean, nothing.
Did you watch any of the French Open?
No, not really. No.
I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a single shot of any slam, any tennis, anything. I'm going to say, since we no longer had a tournament here, that I've bought a single shot.
Wow, I
just don't care.
If it's on in front of me, I'm watching it and I'm getting into it. So I mean, if it's on ESPN, I'm watching it. French Open, not on ESPN, harder to get to. A lot of the matches on Peacock, not watching it. But if for the U.S. Open, the Australian Open, like stuff like that. When it's on ESPN, I watch a ton of the tennis.
And you inspired me to watch this on Saturday night almost immediately after the golf ended on Saturday night. The swimming.
Oh man.
The Olympic qualifying. What do you call it?
Trials.
Yeah. Thank you. Was Saturday night in Indianapolis at the Dome at Lucas Oil Dome.
Yep.
And it was
awesome.
Looked and felt like the Olympics.
It was great. I mean,
it was big.
When they first said that they were having it at Lucas Oil, I said, I don't know about that. Real big, hard to fill up. I don't know what you can get watching it. It was awesome. I mean, it was such a good venue for that.
Really dumb question here. But this is a thing. Was the pool considered a fast pool?
Good question. I have no idea.
The water a fast?
I don't know.
That's the thing.
You're absolutely right. It's a thing. I have no idea. I have no clue. Couldn't tell you.
And do you know whether or not in Paris is that going to be inside or outside swimming?
Ooh, my guess is probably inside.
Because sometimes it's
sure. I'm going to guess.
I know in
inside.
'84 in Los Angeles, all the swimming was outside.
Right.
2004 in Athens, everything was outside.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. But I would probably lean inside. But I don't know. I
don't either.
I do not know. I don't know the speed of the pool, and I don't know if it's going to be inside or outside.
Fast water, slow water.
How about that? I got to do my
toes. As soon as we
toes
turn it on,
it.
it's a world record Saturday night.
That's right.
And she's from Memphis.
That's right. How about and
I had no clue.
46 years old.
That's amazing. What a great story.
It's a terrific story, and so that's a really cool story. I mentioned I don't know. I wasn't paying close enough attention. I mentioned on Friday the two twins that attend Houston High School. Not sure how they did, but a great experience for them to be up there. In all of that,
and that's what really got Indianapolis on the map, was being the home of the United States Olympic Committee, the festival and the training.
Yeah.
That's why Mike Conley with the Grizzlies was from Indianapolis, because his dad would go there to train. That's how they ended up being, Indianapolis natives.
Interesting. I did not know that.
There were people trying to get Mike Conley to Fayetteville train there, and where they could have Mike Conley Jr.
For sure. That's I did not know that. So yeah, the swimming.
They
was
had
really
a
good.
mayor in the they had a mayor in the 70s, Richard Lugar, that became a United States senator.
Yeah.
And then they had a mayor, and I can't his last name was either Hudnot or Hadnot. It was one of the either Hudnot or Hadnot, and he got aggressive with courting the Olympics, and then he started the movement for the old RCA Dome, and that's what got them the Colts.
Interesting.
And they got the Colts over Memphis.
Yeah. Wow. How about
When
that?
Hearsay was bolting town.
Sure. Interesting. I did not know that. But no, the swimming was awesome all weekend long. And then this weekend we'll have the track and field events for their trials. So that will be also fun.
Where
to
is
watch.
that?
I'm not sure.
Usually like at Oregon.
Yeah, that's where it usually is. Let's see. U.S. track.
And that's big.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And I saw Nick Harbor, the receiver for South Carolina. There was a lot of questions on if because he's also a track star. A lot of questions on if he was going to participate in the trials. He's not going to participate on. He said he wanted to focus on South Carolina football, so he will not be participating. They are going to be up in Eugene, Oregon this weekend. Not even this weekend, starting in a couple days here on the 21st.
That's where it all started for Phil Knight was with Steve Prefontaine and
that's right,
and track and field people.
Yeah, so that would be a lot of fun. I love watching. Swim events. I also love watching the track events. So that will be fun to keep an eye on this weekend and getting closer and closer to Paris. Gets me excited, Brett.
It gets me really excited. I'm really looking forward to that. At All Star Chevrolet, this is the month. This is the time of the month that you can get all the great deals. Where all the new Silverados are, some mark 12% off invoice. It's one sweet buyer's market, and they're coming through for you. You're the very important customer. Drew DePriest and the whole team at All Star want you to come down and visit them, where you can get that low financing on new Trailblazers, Silverados, Equinox, and more, and no payments for 90 days. No payments for 90 days. Nothing beats a family trip like being in a new Tahoe, and that's where you can start it out at All-Star. Healthcare workers, teachers, first responders, college students, all an extra $500 bonus back. Ram trucks, even a Ram ProMaster cargo van, all the Jeeps, 4Runners, they're all right there at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, first exit into Mississippi on Highway 78. You're at Kraft Goodman Road, and that's where you're going to get a deal. Bring any vehicle to All-Star you want to sell, and you'll get a check instantly. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, they'll be ready for you. Everyone at All-Star ready for the 4th of July and ready for the big celebration to celebrate our country's Independence Day. Don't miss out on All-Star Chevy's All-American Sale going on now in Olive Branch. Go to allstarautogroup.com for more information.
Well, let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Carterville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshots 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Carterville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
All 650 acquisition fee, Telluride RG 510849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 780 169, MSRP 21820. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/30/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff, I hear you've got the Kia Summer Sticker Sales event going on right now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Give me some scoop.
Randy, the scoop is I'm ready to put you in a new Kia for less. 2024 Kia Forte LXS 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about a 2024 Kia Telluride LX 357 a month, $39.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9. And every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah, or online anytime. KiaMountMoriah.com.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Whopper Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli is wholesome food and no surprises.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, high school.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The Double Steak Grilled Cheese Burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The Double Steak Grilled Cheese Burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, we talked yesterday about the candidates that the Daily Memphian were reporting in the running for the athletic director position. Well, another story came out today. Tim Buckley wrote it over at the Daily Memphian about a couple other candidates that have been added to the Tigers athletic director search. Jeff Crane, the current interim AD, is now listed as a candidate for the position. Also, Kansas State Alumni Association President and CEO Adam Walker, who was here very recently at Memphis, is also in the running. And then the third new candidate for the position, Austin Peay Vice President and Director of Athletics Gerald Harrison, is also in the mix. I don't know much about the day in, day out of Austin Peay, but if you look at those programs over there at Austin Peay, all of them are getting better and have gotten better over the last couple of years while he has been the athletic director. So I would not mind that hire at all. I think he's done a great job at Austin Peay. But all of these names, the names we talked about yesterday, the names we talked about today, I think all are very quality candidates and all definitely qualified to take this position. It's going to be a tough decision for the University of Memphis.
Brian, there are a lot of voices that know a lot more about the inside on who's got a lead on that than me.
Yes.
But here's one thing I would think. I would think the Jeff Crane advocates and the Adam Walker advocates are probably a lot of the same people, and you're going to have to decide between one or the other.
That's
I think
right.
that we end up hurting both of them.
Yeah, I do hate that. And I like both those guys, and
I do too.
hate that both of them could be hurt by this.
I don't know Adam Walker, but
Sure.
I like Jeff Crane
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot. And I've heard great things
Mhm.
about Adam Walker. I just never knew him. What I learned, Cardinals won over 500 after last night's win. A wild one going right now with the Cardinals and the Marlins. If the Cardinals win tonight, they are 2 over 500 for the first time since the end of the 2022 season.
That's crazy.
That's how
would
bad
be-
they've been.
Well, it has not been. It's not been good. I can tell you that. But hey, maybe on the up and up. Who knows? Let's see what I could have done. What I could have done without today. It might just be what you said, that it's been that long since they were a game over 500. But I will go with the story that came out last night. We already talked about it once today, but ESPN put out their power rankings, whatever they had it last night, right after the confetti was falling of who's who teams next year, the way too early power rankings. They had the Grizzlies listed as the 19th team in the NBA, sandwiched right behind the Golden State Warriors, right in front of the Houston Rockets, and said in there that they could make a push to get into the play-ins, 11th in terms of Western Conference teams. I think the Grizzlies will be much better than that, but we talked
Much
about
better.
it earlier. It's that this season that turned into a disaster.
They've
that-
forgotten about us.
Completely.
Okay,
I don't
we gotta
blame
remind them.
I don't blame it.
I don't
That's
blame 'em.
exactly right. Come out next year, handle business early, and a lot of people will be talking about that
Our
Grizzlies
crowds were great last year,
Oh,
and no reason
definitely.
for them not to be next year with
Exactly.
the help on the way, the team returning.
Yep.
I could have done without the long agreed to, much anticipated Ole Miss USC football series, home and home, supposed to be in LA in 2025, Oxford in 2026. It's been canceled. But both sides really wanted out of it. And what I hate in this is now both sides will dig in and say, you were scared.
Sure.
And both, will the Big Ten really weigh in with USC and say SEC was scared?
Probably not.
They hadn't played it down yet in the Big Ten.
no,
but
hard
but
to do.
I hate all this scaredy cat stuff. I just wish they would play. Just so many of these coaches just really don't want to play these kind of games.
Yeah, I wish they had played as well. I saw that earlier this morning, and I was a little upset, but I guess that's what happens nowadays, and they'll find new opponents. Where are you beaming tonight?
South Florida, South FLA for the hockey, and the Cardinals. Hey, you can go to hockey tonight and the Cardinals tomorrow at 11:30. Seats available at Home Depot or Loan Depot.
There you go.
Loan,
Depot.
L-O-A-N.
There you go. Yeah.
Loan Depot.
Got to be careful with your depots.
Yeah.
It gets confusing out there. No, that's a great one. I'll beam right there with you. I'll beam down to Florida, the Everglades area for Game 5 tonight between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Can Florida do it? We'll see.
Keep a close eye on the thermometer. Today's high in that area, I would say, was around 88 or 89.
Yeah.
That's got to be the highest high on a day that the Stanley Cup could be awarded to a team ever.
Oh, certainly. 100%. No question
Even a
about
time
it.
or two in Los Angeles.
That's right.
It wasn't. It's not that hot.
How about this? Right now in Miami, we're dealing with some weather. 84 degrees Fahrenheit. In Edmonton, 54 degrees Fahrenheit for Edmonton, Canada. How about
If I was
that?
in Edmonton, Brian, I have my electric blanket on tonight.
Oh, of course.
No doubt.
Of course. I
I may
mean,
break my electric blanket back out tonight.
well,
I ran into a friend of mine recently and said he never takes his off
oh,
anymore.
jeez. Wow.
He said he doesn't turn it on in the summertime. He doesn't
Sure.
fight air
Sure.
and heat. But
Sure.
he said he doesn't take it off.
I love that. That's great. Well, that's all the time we have today. Enjoy your night. Plenty to watch. The NHL, Major League Baseball, no college baseball tonight. That game's been postponed till tomorrow morning. We'll have a triple header tomorrow. First game starting at 10 a.m. But enjoy all the action. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call, hit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Cue the fireworks and celebrate Independence Day with the Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale. Save 50% off site-wide and fire up the perfect backyard cookout with tender steaks, juicy burgers, deli-style franks, and more family favorites. Shop today at omahasteaks.com and score an extra $30 off when you use promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Plus, every purchase is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Hurry, because this offer won't last long. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Marty McNate at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown is turning back prices to give you the best deal in this decade.
Doc gave me orders to turn back time with the 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE. We got it for $249 a month, and it gets 42 miles per gallon highway. That's much better than my DeLorean, Randy.
You got that right, Marty McNate. And I hear at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, you've got choices.
Take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or 2024 Teos SE for $279.28 a month.
Great Scott, McNate. That's Gossett Volkswagen Germantown on Winchester Road. Plus, get 0% for 60 months on Taos.
Your future is whatever you make of it, Randy, so get to Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com.